Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. We do this every single Friday where we get together and we mix our energies together and we ask a juicy question of the universe and spirit. And today our juicy question is, what are their secret feelings for you? So, hello. With that being said, let us go ahead and get into our piles. We do have an anchor card today, so I am just going to throw that up there for you. If you've been here before, you know that I feel like we read the cards together, where I pick up on more general energies. You might pick up on things that maybe contradict something that I've said, or that kind of enhance it in a certain way, and that might be more specific to your situation, maybe even other people's situations as well. So feel free to add it in the chat. But I like for you to get a good look at these like main cards. So that is the anchor card. The anchor card isn't a choice of piles. It's just a common energy that sometimes does come out. So, I like to show it when it's up there. It's just like a baseline kind of energy. So our anchor card is the unseen. Heather, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello. Aw. Okay, so I'll put up the actual choices. So our first pile is the warrior. Our second pile is the ring. And our third pile is the vow. So I will go put that up there for you. If you haven't already chosen your pile, now is the time to do that. Hello, hello. Good morning. Peace. Everybody, thumbs up. Okay, so let's just have our moment of silence where we can meditate and connect in with that deeper part of ourselves, the part that is below, beyond our ego and the concepts that we have of ourselves and of other people and all of our things that we have to do, and connect in there. And from that place, we'll jump off into picking the pile and we'll jump off into the reading. So go ahead and take a couple moments here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and be drawn into whatever pile or multiple piles you feel drawn into. Maybe this person has a lot of secret feelings about you. We don't know. We have to wait and see. Also, if you have multiple piles, there could be like a congealing of those piles where maybe not every message in those piles resonates, but somehow it kind of like comes together. Thank you, Brenda. I'm digging the strawberry. Isn't it fun? It's just like a giant strawberry. I think I got that at Costco. I saw it and I was like, I need that in my life. Okay. So if you're ready, I'm ready. If you need a little bit more time, you can pause it here, but let us move into pile number 1, the warrior. Okay, so I have been channeling all morning, like as I've been getting ready, and I'm pretty sure it's for this pile. So I'm just going to jump right into this. So what are this person's secret feelings for you? Well, their secret feelings for you, I think, somehow blend in with their secret feelings for themselves. And I don't exactly think that this person has kind of settled on the secret feelings that they have for you. I feel like those feelings are kind of like morphing and evolving in some type of like transition, because I do feel like this person did have like very deep, powerful feelings for you, and they are of a scorpionic nature, but I'm not entirely sure that they were secret, because I feel like you probably know, at least at this point in time, like you probably, like it's not a secret to you now at the very least, because I feel like you probably know that this person has powerful feelings for you, like attraction. There's a lot of attraction here, but there also could be this like kind of deep emotional, psychic connection here, like between the two of you. I think at this point in time, this person has either taken a step back or there's been some type of breakage or like some type of distance here. And this person that I'm picking up on has very much started to reflect about the whole situation. And they are reflecting on you, they're reflecting on them, they're reflecting on the situation that you find yourself in now. And they are examining their feelings in the past, and they're examining their feelings now, and they are trying to figure out what it all means. And I feel like this has to do with money, power, crisis, and schmegs, those things like in particular, like where they come from, but also I feel like that's kind of baked into the situation here somehow. And I am getting that there's like a couple of different situations that this could be. One is coming through a little stronger though, so I'm going to kind of focus on that. But I feel like for some of you, there may have been this, what played out between the two of you in the past could have been that this person is kind of recognizing, and maybe that's news to you, but it's like, I think they're kind of recognizing that maybe you butted up against in some way their own pride and stubbornness and like maybe even their jealousy. So this is a person who is like reflecting on their more destructive qualities. And if you were wondering about that, because if you feel like you had like a moment with this person in time where if those things are really standing out to you, we're like, oh yeah, like I definitely think this person was prideful or jealous or angry or like whatever. And that's part of why you kind of like repelled or like bounced off of this person. You went to some type of other situation and you've transformed. And this person that's what they're thinking on. And that's where their feelings are kind of coming from. But I do feel this like sort of not necessarily only processing conscious, like they're actually experiencing feelings for you in a very conscious way. And they're conscious of like what things kind of, came from in themselves. So they're viewing you, and like their secret feelings is, I think secretly they're proud of you. And I think that there is this, I'm hearing triumphant. Like I feel like you have kind of triumphed over these things in this person and the things that were kind of, I think, going on unconsciously between the two of you, of the pride and the jealousy. And like there's a stubbornness here. Like this person was kind of like very stubborn, and they kind of refused to do the work. They refused to pop the lid and to do this kind of like conscientious like digging around. But this is a person who's doing that now. I think this person sees that you are doing great, and somehow that has, I do think this person has maybe had an emotional crisis around you. And I want to put that to the side here because there's another path, and this is the stream that's actually coming in the strongest that I might probably focus on a little bit more in this reading because it's just coming through so clear, which is that I feel like this is a person who has had a run-in with you. And so you could have been in a relationship with this person in the past. But I feel like you've moved on and now you are in another relationship. Because I think for some of you, this person's had some type of run-in with you and you're in a relationship. So either you met this person and you were already in a relationship with somebody else, or you guys were together in the past and that kind of broke apart for whatever reason, and you have since moved on, you're with somebody else. Because what this person thinks about is they had feelings for you in the past, and I think now, because this person is also being very reflective. I actually think if this resonates with you, I think you found a real one. Like this person is like so real for this, because I feel like this person is very aware of themselves, and they were kind of, the way in which they were unaware of you in the past was so innocent, because I really feel like you and this person are actual soulmates, and that this person likes you. They liked you. I just feel like for this group, I think the money and the power and the maybe like status and even like jealousy and schmegs, I think it's a package deal with you, either like overall, because I think like it's you or them. Somebody here is like, it's a package deal where it's like they are very successful, but I feel like they're successful in a particular way. And that is giving like Leo, Aquarius vibes. Actually, I'm bouncing all around in my mind of the fixed signs in the zodiac. So I think that's where I'm kind of getting this like stubborn energy from. There's like, it's very entrenched energies that are kind of like being worked through here. Tasha, hello. Thank you so much for the super chat. I kept seeing things moving out of the side of my eye. Okay, so yeah, I think that this person, they feel real feelings for you. It was absolutely real. It's deep here. It's also really schmegdual. And I don't know, you guys could have even bonded somehow over like the darker sides of life. Either you had to confront crisis or something together, or I don't know, it could have been something here like that. But this person was so like fused, like in that experience, that they weren't really questioning like where their feelings were coming from. And I feel like this person wasn't really questioning something about you. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this is you that has some type of success. It could be them, but I'm going to keep talking like it's you. Make it fit your situation. I feel like the success that you've acquired though, and I think this person actually shares this in some type of way. I think you both share this in common, but it's like looking in the mirror, and that's what's causing this person to reflect, because the success comes somewhere from this like Leo Aquarius axis, which obviously it's like that's an opposition, but you know, Leo is more the showstopper, can be a bit like authoritarian. It is like kind of me centric. It's still very loving, but it's more like I take pride in you, or I take pride in myself, and therefore I love you, you know, kind of a thing. Whereas Aquarius, it's more democratic. It's more about like the group. It's more like I love you, so I set you free, you know, kind of thing. So I feel like there is this bumping up of energies, but I feel like one of you could be more you both have both energies, I want to say. But one of you could be more Leonine and the other one more Aquarius. So one could be like more, you was underground, or I was underground and you were mainstream. I live the life now that we would daydream. My only wish is you come enjoy it with me. Get on the conference calls. Go meet the lawyers with me. So I feel like there could be something here like this where it's like one of you maybe is like very successful. This has like a visibility to it, a gravity to it. But the way in which somebody has become successful is somehow through this Aquarian means. So it's like through, well, Leo's very creative in itself, but it's like maybe through the group, maybe it's through democratic means where you espouse like, we all have to work together as a group. We don't want to be ruled over by an autocrat. And I'm so sorry, I cannot say this and like not throw this in here. I just can't. It's just not in me because of the place that we're in our society. But if you're going to have a democracy and if you're going to have group rule, that doesn't just happen, right? What does that mean? It means you have bureaucracy. It means you have laws. It means you have a process for building those laws. It means you have rule of law. And I'm just saying that because I live in a country where that was very much attacked in the last election. And it was like, isn't this boring? Isn't this bad? Because they don't understand that that is the backbone of democracy. But I digress. Let us move on. So, but somebody here feels like that. It's like very democratic, you know? And so I think that or this is another way that you could have risen in your energy is like, maybe you were known for some type of like eccentricity, or you were known for like being different in some way. And I'm kind of getting this image. Okay, so Alex and I know this person. It makes me chuckle. He very much had Leo Aquarius in his chart. He was a Leo sun. And I remember like, I'm interested in astrology. So I would always be like talking about this. And he's like, astrology is bunk, because like he was very much that scientist. He was a literal actual scientist. Okay. Very Aquarian, like he was a research scientist, left that job to go volunteer at a hippie community. So he's eccentric. Like, he probably wouldn't see himself that way. So it's like this very strong Aquarius energy, but he was like, yeah, I'm a Leo sun. And it doesn't like really even add up. But then this guy, like, he would be like this scientisty guy, right? But then you'd see him like at a party, like we would all like be getting down. He would dance without a care in the world, to the point where it was almost like a meme in like our little group, where he would just be like getting down, and it made parties so fun because everybody felt like they could loosen up and like not worry about looking like a fool. But people would always like snap pictures of him in like the craziest of poses and stuff. And that sort of became like his identity. He was known for being this like kind of emblem of eccentricity, of like kind of not caring. And I'm like, I see the Leo in you. It's not the traditional kind of Leo, but I see the Leo in you, and it's definitely there. It's just there's so much Aquarius in your chart that the Leo is working with and against like the Aquarius energy, but he kind of couldn't fathom that. But anyway, so there could be a person here like that. And so I think those themes come up for both of you. And it's not like to demonize that. So I think like the Aquarius person is like, it's causing some type of like feelings in them where they're kind of looking at the Leo person. And I think, again, both of you have this in your chart. It's just like there's maybe a different way that this shapes up in your life. So it's like one person is looking at the other person and they're like, how can you are you truly for the group? Are you truly like democratic? Are you truly like for everybody? Do you care about other people? You know, or is this all about you? Because I also feel like with this group, you guys bonded over something. And I think was maybe some type of creative pursuit. Like you both are really into the same type of music, because I keep seeing this image of you guys like looking, you know, like if you go to like the club or you go to like a concert or something and you're kind of pale by the end of the night, your makeup's all smudged, but I'm seeing you guys both like lit, like having like a huge smile on your face, like arms looped around each other. I'm hearing Sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba. Like you guys are both just like this. I feel like there was a bonding over like something here, like creative. And I think like maybe you or them, I think it's like this person that was real. And I think that's what this person's working through. Like, they're like, why was I drawn into this person? They're really questioning themselves. And I think this has to do with somebody that you moved on from this person with, or if you met this person when you were already in a couple, there's a way that comes across that this person saw it different than like the bond that the two of you share and the couple that the two of you had, because this person didn't really think about it. Like they did kind of think about it. This person is like such a real one too, because this person is very much like, again, I think there's somebody here where there is just, they've become successful, like because of Leo, like because of who they are, because of this Aquarian energy. So again, we need people to become successful in this way to espouse like sharing cooperative, democratic, like talking points. We have to have these people, because to not have those people leaves a vacuum for people who believe different things, that maybe corporations should run the government. And maybe we should have 14 billionaires in the White House, and somehow the government should be a business, even though it shouldn't, because it's not. And, anyways, I digress again. Sorry, I apologize. I'm digressing a lot here, but I feel like it's these kinds of things that are like kind of rising to the surface. We're like, what do you think? Like, what do you believe, you know? Because there's somebody here who is like coming across very leonine in some way, where it's like, and so it's like, well, is it all about you? And this maybe has to do with like a couple that I feel like you're in, or some type of association that you have. And I do think it's schmegsual. And I think that there was maybe some type of like ostentatious display. Or it could be that your life is the ostentatious display. Because again, there's somebody here where I feel like success and just like having money, power, and schmegs is like kind of baked into it. And the schmegs I feel like is maybe between the two of you. Like if you could have access. I don't know. But it's like, you know, it's if the schmegs, if you have that kind of chemistry, if it's good between the two of you, it's good between the two of you. But this person's kind of like questioning that. And I'm hearing like, did I chase the glitz and glamour, money, fame, and power? Because if so, that will forever go down my lamest hour. That's that Aquarian heart where it's like, wait a second. I was like so wrapped up in that. I was so having fun. And this person does like you for you. They actually do. There's a real bond here between the two of you. But I feel like they've seen something else in you. In a certain association. I feel like it is a schmegsual one, even if you're not a couple with this person. But it's like they've seen something else in you, and they're like, wait a second, was that what was all about you? And that goes back to whatever this thing is that you guys bonded over, because this person's like, I know why I'm doing that. Or maybe you guys are like in the same industry or something. And so, you know, this person, it's got them questioning that. It could be something creative with Leo, but it also could be something scientific, like maybe medicine or like a scientific research. And this person's like, I know why I'm doing this. And it's like the success, they have this view where it's like, I'm doing this for like humanitarian reasons, but like the success and stuff is kind of baked into it. And like, that's kind of how this person was viewing you as well. Like if you are very successful, they feel like you should be. They feel like it wasn't ever a problem for this person before. Like, you know, they feel like you work really hard, or you are very good at what you do. Or like, again, if it's like you work in medicine or some type of like, you know, research, is this person's like, you went to school forever to like learn something very helpful, and society needs help in this way. You should have money. You should go on vacations. You should be relaxed. We need you. If you're performing surgery on people, we need you to be happy. And we don't want you to be thinking about your phone bill, you know, like, and we want you to be relaxed. We want that for you, you know, like you should be successful. Like it doesn't have to come from a place of greed. They should actually go hand in hand in that. And so like this person was not really questioning that. They're more questioning themselves. They're like, so I like was so happy in that relationship, or like when they think back to that time, they're like, we had like hit it off. There was like such a deep connection. There was a schmegsual connection. And this person also, like, again, they're very pragmatic, because they're like, well, I mean, the money helps. Like this person's like, they're like, the money helps. Like it means that I can go to the doctor. It means I can get my car fixed. It means that I can go on a vacation. It means that I can this. It means that I can that. Like, but was I in love with that, or was I like in love with this person? For some of you though, you're in the same industry. So it's brought up all these feelings, these secret feelings of like, well, okay, so you're in this industry and it's like you're maybe very successful or something like that. And this person's like, but is that why you got into this industry? The thing that you like bonded over. Because this person's like, they're just questioning it, and they're questioning it in themselves. Again, did I chase the glitz and glamour, money, fame, and power? Because if so, that will forever go down my lamest hour. And it's because this person's been like seen you with like some type of couple. Mystical High Priestess, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, I just feel like there is some type of connection here. And the connection, the couple, I think they've seen you in. And again, I think for most of you, this is, if it's a romantic relationship, from their perspective, it's like maybe something that was just like very schmegsual. And it was about money and power and like fame. That's what it looks like. Whether or not it is, because only you can really answer that question. That's the thing that's like reflecting back to them. And I think it has led to this kind of like crisis point for them, which is like, well, I was like in love with that person and I was like enjoying the fruits of that, or that's part of why they were like attracted to the whole package. But this person I think is genuinely a soulmate and they actually like you. And they are working their way back around to that, to having that understanding, but they're pulling apart these Leo Aquarius aspects through looking in your mirror and through looking in their own mirror, where they're like, okay, because I think this person also has some level of that Leo quality that's related to the Aquarius, where it's like, or that's what they want, like they want visibility, or they want leadership, or they want to be known for like their particular spin that they put on things that is like somewhat different, and they want to be able to kind of like liberate. And maybe that's why they went into a certain industry, but now they're kind of like questioning it. And it's good for them to question it. And they're going to come back around to like, I think realizing that, yeah, there's just a crisis point around that. And I think this person has maybe been a bit stubborn. Like for some of these people, they have to learn that they were a bit stubborn in certain areas. And that's like what was really like holding them back. But for others, maybe they are responding to something real, because maybe the relationship that you did get in after this person, it was very cheap. It was very superficial. Like there's money here, don't get me wrong, but you can have money and be cheap at the same time. Like you can have money and be gauche at the same time. You can have money and be chintzy at the same time. You can have money and things like be really shallow and kind of superficial. And that's where, again, like with the fixed signs, I jump over to kind of like a Taurus Scorpio, because Scorpio is like that depth. And Taurus is kind of like very placid, and it wants to produce things, but it can kind of keep things on that surface level, but be like immensely satisfied in that. And I think that's kind of something that they're seeing in this relationship, where like there's one person here who is like the ox somehow. Maybe they look like the ox, or like, they are maybe more placid in their temperament, whether that's you or like this other person. And then there's this like snake energy that's much more like maybe emotionally volatile, or like very sexy, or like very alluring or something. Now I want to jump back over to the first situation that I picked up on, because I actually do feel like maybe that's it. For some reason, it's kind of like in the background. So for some of you, again, this person, they're going through their process of feelings that's very similar to this, that I do think like has to do with this like Leo Aquarius like thing in its own way. But this is a person who recognizes that I'm seeing you like bounce off of them like oil and water or something. It's like you guys like really did get along, but because of this person's pride, because of this person's stubbornness, pride and stubbornness are really coming through. And I think there might have been some jealousy here. That could be something this person's still working on understanding. They know it's there, but it's like you bounced right off of them, and so you guys broke up, or like you guys didn't, because it's like oil and water. I feel like you never really like fully congealed, but this person maybe does see that there was like that kind of deep connection there. But they, I think, have seen you triumph in some way, where they're seeing you as being maybe a mixture of these things, because they're seeing you as being very sexy, like very alluring, very powerful. Maybe for some of you, they are seeing you as being like very rooted and very stable, and very maybe you produce something, but they also could be seeing you in a couple like this. And maybe they're seeing you rise and be recognized in the realms of glitz and glamour, money, fame, and power. But I think this person knows that like that's not something that you're about, but they view it as like you being triumphant and you having like transformed. But the way in which you've transformed is this very like sexy, alluring kind of figure. I'm seeing like Queen of Wands, but I'm seeing like sparkly, shimmery. There's also like a fluidity to your movement. Like it's very, very attractive. And I think this person is reflecting something back here to this person. Again, I'm hearing like pride and jealousy. So I think that this person might be feeling jealous like of your situation, but I think they're wondering, okay, so here's where the thinking goes for them, because they're wondering, okay, am I jealous because they have money, they seem to have power, this is giving like power couple, so it's like they look like they're in a power couple. Like, am I jealous because of like those shallow things? But again, I feel like there's an actual connection here, and I think they're actually jealous over you. I think that they're like, that could have been me, that should be me holding your hand. That should be me making you laugh. That should be me. I don't really know that song, but I know that part, and that's the one that's coming through. So like this person's like, that should be me, like I'm your soulmate. And I think that there is like, again, Taurus, Scorpio, because Taurus is like that kind of, maybe there is a kind of chemistry between, like, this is what this person can see, and only you can really answer this for yourself, where it's like, there is a kind of routine, there's a chemistry here that's earthy, that's like very routine, that like it produces something here. But this person's like, we have a really deep scorpionic, psychic, emotional, sexual connection, and so that should be me. Like I should be able to, maybe this person feels that they're more emotionally volatile, maybe that's also something. Okay, that's somehow connected to the jealousy. For some reason, jealousy is like standing out hey, jealousy. Yeah, it's like somehow like there's the pride and the stubbornness. And I think for some of you, this person's like, I am prideful and stubborn. But like they might not be like, I am also jealous, but because they're still or they haven't like fully understood where the jealousy comes from. That's the thing that I think is up in their mind. I'm seeing a coin like kind of flipping back and forth because they're like, I don't know, am I jealous? Because I think for some of you, this person's like, well, they're just really hot, like their life looks really good and they're just really hot. And that's the only thing that I'm jealous about. But I actually, like I said, I think that there's a real connection here and there's something like creative. There's something that you guys bonded over that's, I think, either Leo or Aquarius or some kind of version of both. And you both have that. You're both kind of not struggling, but it's like you're trying to bring out that axis, I think, in your soul, like in your life. You're trying to like find some type of balance where it's like, well, of course I want to be like seen or recognized for my uniqueness and my individuality, but I also feel like we need to have this group thing. We need to be cooperative. We need to look out for each other. We can't put one person's needs or like a handful of I'm about to go off again. Billionaires is what I'm about to say. You can't put a handful of billionaires' needs over like the needs of like the entire group, you have to find a balance between those things. Like this is a question that really kind of burns deep in their soul, in their heart. And that's what's being kind of like worked out here. So I think that they are also like processing through some kind of jealousy and they're going to realize like, no, I'm jealous because of you, because there was a real connection here, because it's not that they just want to live like the good life. It's like they would like to live it with you, because of who you are, because there is like this real connection that is here. And I feel like, yeah, something here has like kind of been blurry with the unseen, but it's like kind of coming through. I think for some of you, again, with the partying energy, like you guys could have partied a lot together or something like in the past. Because if you were a couple with this person, I feel like that's what it was. I feel like you guys were like having so much fun. You guys were like partying, or you were going to concerts or things like that. And so this person's like, was I just like, young and in love and, drinking and partying? And like, is that what this was? Or it could be for this scenario where you bounced off this person. I feel like you guys could have done that together and it would have been really fun, but this person was doing that to numb out and to not see. And maybe in doing that, they got with some type of couple here. Maybe there's a person that they got into a relationship with. Maybe they were trying to make you jealous by making you think, because this would be chintzy. This would be like, I don't know. Maybe they did that. For some of you, that's like a part of the equation here where like they kind of did that, but it was a connection that was based off of like, I'm drunk out my gourd. I can't see clearly. I'm trying to like kind of numb out. I'm trying not to see what we could be, what we could have. Like, kind of that I'm hearing it again. That should be me. But also I'm getting this vibe of like, because that's like kid Justin Bieber voice in my mind. And it's kind of like, I don't listen to Justin Bieber. I listen to like heavy metal. Okay. Like it's something like that. But yeah, so they were trying not to see like how special like your connection really was, and that this is maybe something where you guys could have had it all. You could have been like having fun. So they were instead trying to numb out and then formed like a very superficial connection here with somebody that I think it was built on this scorpionic energy. It's not the depth though. It's not that. It's more like this desire for power. And maybe that was like repulsive as well, because that scorpionic energy can really draw you in and be very attractive, but it can also like really, really strongly repel. And maybe this person, I think subconsciously, like was maybe even trying to like show you, if this person got into another relationship after you, this would be built on their secret feelings of jealousy that somebody here cannot like accept that they're jealous. But yeah, so I feel like that was, I don't think it was the real thing. Like, I think that it was this like image of that. And they were trying to hurt you with it. They were trying to be like, don't you want to be this? And I'm seen as this and you're not. But I feel like, again, you bounced right off of their pride and their stubbornness and their jealousy. And you went off into like this other connection here is what I'm getting. And then I think that you maybe showed like this is like triumphant, and you showed like the real deal of that, where it's like, I took my time, I processed my feelings, and then I became like the real thing. And this is actually what we could have had, just so you know, not whatever this like getting drunk out of your gourd and like trying to find somebody that like fits a certain image, like not that. This is like the actual real thing. And so for some of you, if there's like that going on where this person did try to make you jealous with somebody else, I feel like there's some projection here where this person's wondering like if it is real or if it's not real, if you really actually have like a certain kind of connection with somebody. I kind of feel like like, yeah, even if you have a connection with somebody else that you moved on with, it is different than the connection that you shared with this other person, obviously, because every connection that we have, the chemistry and the alchemy is like somewhat different. But this person really wanted this. I feel like that's what they have to, that's their secret feelings. That's what they're working around too, because this person is in the middle of processing. Like, that's the whole point of this, is like they're processing through the feelings that they had in the past. And somebody here cannot admit that they were jealous, is what I'm getting. Like, they really cannot admit that they were jealous and that it caused them to maybe numb out or like act out in a bunch of ways. If they are, when they become aware of their jealousy, they're going to then have to ask themselves, well, am I jealous because of the image that me and this person, like that this person has, and then like me and this person like would have had or did have, like when we were out and like hanging out, everybody was like, oh, that's a power couple, we have it all kind of thing, you know. Did I just want that? No, there is something here where there's a real actual connection, and you do want those people together. And oh, maybe there was a path to go on together in that Leo Aquarius vibe again, of like you kind of coming out of the group of like regular everyday, or like or even like representing some type of like eccentricity, or it could have even been this marriage of like somebody who represents this Leo quality, nobility, creativity, bright, like they have a personality on them kind of thing, visibility. And then you've got like this kind of more Aquarian figure, but they would have kind of been known for their eccentricity, maybe even like in relation to a partner. And maybe that was like a lot for somebody, you know, where they were like, well, I don't want to be known as your eccentric partner. Like, you know, I want to be my own Leo self, like, you know, and they have that too. But I feel like there's something here maybe about this couple next to each other where it's like there's somebody that's like more mainstream, because you were underground and I was mainstream. We live the life now that I would daydream. Yeah. And like there's an actual connection here. And I'm seeing this meme that I think about a lot. It was it's like a Gemini meme. It was like my two twins like sitting next to each other. And one is like this pure, like, you know, happy little Christian girl with her ice cream cone. And then like sitting next to this like totally gothed out guy with like the spikes sticking out of his neck and everything. I'm seeing like that's you and this person, you know? And yeah, it's a bit of a spectacle together, but it's like of Aquarian values, like of some type of like difference where it's like, yes, we are visible, but we are different, you know, like in some type of way. And I think that's what this person actually really wanted. And I think that's what you actually really want for some reason. And that kind of like leaks down into more secret feelings. But I feel like those aren't the secret feelings that are kind of like active and being squished around here now. So it's like they have seen a mirror image of exactly what it is that they want. There is that other group here, though, where I think they were really thinking that, but then now they're kind of questioning what is motivating you and whether or not this was tainted inside of themselves. And also potentially like, maybe they're thinking like, well, maybe we weren't on the same page, you know, kind of a thing. So, okay, let me pull some cards here. So what are this person's secret feelings? Oh my gosh, they're hurt. I mean, this person is really hurt. I think this person does feel betrayed. They feel like things ended very badly because like there is some type of like other relationship here. And again, that's going to shape up differently depending on what scenario that you're in. So it could be that somebody here felt thrown over for something really chintzy. And we do pick up on that in the readings, you know? So it's like you guys had this really great connection, but somebody here was really prideful and very jealous. And then they went to the bar, they got all numbed out, and they got themselves into some type of PR superficial relationship to try and save face and to try to put a certain image out into the world. And somebody here feels like that's an ending. That's a wrap for me. And did it hurt? Yes. Was it a betrayal? Yes. Because you saw some type of victory crown in another person. And yeah. And are you making me compete? Like, and so what that is, so are you making me compete? But it's brought up a lot of secret feelings in this person where that's what's caused them to doubt. That's maybe what's flipped that scorpionic energy from this is like mad attractive to like, this is repulsive, you know, that kind of like quick turnaround. But that's what's confused like the inner feelings for those of you that are resonating more with, no, we are really soulmates, but somebody here, like their pride and jealousy got in the way and then kind of fucked things up. And now that person, their secret feelings, they're confused. They're confused because they're hurt. They are, there's shame that was brought up. Like, because I feel like this person could have really put themselves out there. Like for them, maybe you didn't recognize it, but I think this person, I just heard they're shy. But again, with that Leo quality, like you might not realize that they're kind of like shy in a certain way, or they're like vulnerable in a certain way around like love. I'm feeling like the pricks around the eyes. And I'm also, again, like if this is like this Leo Aquarius couple, it's like, everybody in my family or my life is going to tell me that I'm stupid and I should never have gone after like this particular kind of person, because what else did I expect except for it to go wrong because we're so different and like this or that, and I should have known better, and I should have gone after somebody Leo like me, or I should have gone after somebody Aquarius like me, or, you know, like whatever. And so I think this person was like, oh, and there also could be the feeling of like you exist in different spheres in a kind of way. And so they kind of felt like, again, shame, because they felt humiliated because they might feel like your friends are like making fun of them because they're an outsider. But y'all weren't supposed to be outsiders. Y'all were supposed to make the world feel a little bit more like family. Y'all were supposed to kind of symbolize to your group of friends that it doesn't matter. Don't matter if you're black or white. I took my baby on a Saturday. You know, it's like, I don't want to spend my life being a color. Maybe for some of you, this is like a colorism kind of thing. But it could be anything. This is like, I'm seeing somebody like in a hijab and then like somebody in a business suit. You know, I'm seeing like, it's shocking. Like, you're meant to be like jarring, where people are like, those are two different people. They have like, it even could be something like freaking Grease. I always see that one with like the leather jacket and the poodle skirt. You know, it's like you're supposed to be jarring, but it's supposed to be like, we love each other. And our friends at our wedding, this side is going to be straight up goth, and this side is going to be everyone's in poodle skirts and blush. And be friends, like mix and be married, like make the world a smaller place, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. I'm getting Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley, whether or not their relationship was real or not, but I'm just seeing that in my mind, where everybody was like, is this a real relationship? Do you guys do schmags together? I know this is like very invasive, but like, do you like and Lisa Marie's like, I was so embarrassed. You would be like, anyways. Anyway,
you can't be asexual.
I think people, you know what? I think this is like a thing though. I think people think about when they see the two of you, they're like, those two people like do schmags together. Like they do that together. Like, and I think it's weird. Like, I think it's weird for people, but it's not weird for you. And it's somehow like natural at the same time. So, I don't know. There might be some type of like embarrassment or humiliation. I don't know. Yeah. So this person basically felt like humiliated, because I think if things went wrong here, especially if there was pride, jealousy, which means that there's no softness. It means that there's no understanding. It means that there's no amends here. It means that somebody like went bouncing off. Then yeah, they feel like humiliated. And for some of you, this is like a soulmate connection where you went off like with somebody else, and this person feels like they don't fit in that group of people because the two of you were like very different. You know, it's like the scientist and the creative. You know, and it's, so the two of you are very different. And then you ran off and like you went somewhere else. And then this person's like, well, obviously I'm an outsider to that group of people. So like I'm looked on as being the freak. I'm looked on as being like different or weird. Oh my gosh, this is reminding me of a time in my life. I lived in a trapeze studio with like all these circus people. And I was there with my boyfriend at the time. And I was the only like non-circus person. And it was like very much at core of their identity. And they were like nice to me. You know, they were trying to get me into like circus stuff. And I liked some of the stuff, you know, but I always felt like the outsider. You know, like I would always come in, they were like, oh, we were just having like circus meetings. We were having circus class, like, you know, and I'm like, okay, like I'm working my regular job, like, you know, but anyways, like, so that's like the feeling though, like I kind of don't feel like I belong here. So like I need to be made family, you know, something like that. So yeah, I feel like there could have been like shame or humiliation where it's like they felt like that whole group was going to be like, I never liked them anyway, you know, because they're not like us. And we should all be like us. If you ask me, yeah, we can have group energy, but the group has to be full Aquarian. The group has to be entirely like us. You see, I sound like a Valley Girl, Mean Girl. And so like you have a group of Aquarians over here that starts sounding like Valley Girl, Mean Girl, but they can't see that like that's what they are on the inside, that they're just as the same. This is really what this is about. It's just as the same. You're just like me. But again, like I think this person could have looked like that. They weren't actually to be over there at all. Like they're not Valley Girl, Mean Girl, even if they do wear the poodle skirt, you know, even if they are on the cheerleading squad. Like in their heart, they're very Aquarian. They actually love everybody. They are accepting of other people's differences, and they don't feel like they should just be hanging out with other people like them, because why would they be over in your group? That's actually something that I feel like this Aquarian group had a chip on the shoulder against that. Because they were like, well, we felt rejected, you know, or we're on the fringe. And this person's like, I love you, you know, and they're like, kill her, you know, like it's all ego stuff. It's all like that kind of like psyche stuff. And that's kind of what this was like bringing out. So I think for some, this person felt like, I just heard Left 4 Dead. They felt like, I'm hearing the word like die. Like this person, yeah, mortified. I just heard mortified. And And they retreated back in their shell. And I think, again, they started to get confused, like, well, maybe I shouldn't have been over there. I guess they didn't want me over there. And it makes the world feel more divided and more tribal than what was kind of originally, than what was the divine plan here in regarding that. How does this person, what are their secret feelings? Somebody's sorry. Their secret feelings are that they're sorry, that they didn't really give like a lot of love. Somebody's secret feelings are like, okay, yeah, you don't see the truth, but I think it's also like my group of friends didn't see the truth about you. I didn't act in such a way where my friends saw your heart, you know, and then related to you as a person. And I didn't insist that happened either. And if it wasn't going to happen, if these people aren't capable of that, I also didn't reflect back like that's a them problem and that they're unsafe and that the thing that needs to change isn't my boyfriend or my girlfriend coming around here. The thing that needs to change is that black speckled crust that has developed over your heart space. That's the thing that needs to change. And you can wear whatever kind of makeup or styling you want. It doesn't mean that that's your personality, right? A lot of us hide who we really are. Yeah. And I just feel like, yeah, that's the thing. So somebody here does actually feel sorry. There's something here about a friend. They feel sorry about like a friend, or they feel sorry about a friendship group. I do feel somebody could have maybe gotten in this person's ear that's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing from Pride and Prejudice, Caroline Bennett, who by the way has a crush on Mr. Darcy. And she was from that world, you know, but she was Charles Bingley's sister. Charles Bingley is Mr. Darcy's best friend, and he is very wealthy as well. But he likes Jane Bennet, who is a gentleman's daughter, but they were like considered poor, and they weren't seen as like having the proper manners, and they were seen as a bit eccentric because the Bennet father did not marry his girls off at age like 14. Jane was like 22. That was very, very rare. And so Caroline is like, Charles, you cannot be serious. Charles, you cannot be serious. So I feel like somebody here could have like gotten into somebody's like head or gotten into their ear. And all they had to say was like, Charles, you cannot be serious. But meanwhile, it's just like, ugh. That's like on the Leo side, I guess, you know, where it's like, Charles, you cannot be serious. Like, we are better than other people. Don't you know that? We are destined to rule over everyone. I don't know what that accent is, but fuck it. I'm kidding. So yeah, what are this person's secret feelings? I keep hearing, I took my baby on a Saturday. Oh my gosh, there also could have been something here. You know how Michael Jackson had vitiligo, but then nobody refused to like acknowledge that, and everybody was like, you hate your race. And he's like, I'm struggling with an illness, and that really should be private. And then everybody had like their own viewpoints on that. I kind of feel like somebody here could have been struggling with an illness. Maybe it was like a mental illness, or maybe it was like they could have been just really struggling with something they could not actually change about themselves. And they also wanted it to be very private. And it's like, I should not have to go around and tell everybody that I'm dealing with this for you to love and accept me. Like at some point, your worldview has to include that people are different from you, and that sometimes those differences include things that are private. And when you are like become a trusted, like intimate person to somebody, you know? So I feel like, yeah. And that could have also had to do with like friend groups. I'm particularly seeing this like Aquarian friend group that's like, well, what's wrong with this person? And it's like, they don't even realize that they're being ruthless, that they're doing all the mean girl stuff because in their mind, they're above it. In their mind, like because they were outcasted, they could never be that. But they are that, and they are being that. And I think that they're like picking apart this person. They're trying to find, their fault finding is what I'm getting. Yeah, they're fault finding so that they don't have to love and accept this person. And as a fearful avoidant, that's what avoidants do sometimes when they're trying to avoid love and connection, is they can fault find when things actually feel too close. Because I feel like, I do think that actually this group of people maybe liked this Leo person. And depending on who felt rejected by who, you know. And I think this Aquarius part of the couple, I don't know if they actually were rejected by the Leo person's family and friends, but I think that it was, what I'm getting is big in their mind that they were going to be rejected and that they were going to be seen as less than, even before like meeting those people. So they could have even like sabotaged and like gotten into their head, but maybe not even like said that out loud. But it was like, that's another secret feeling, is like, I'm afraid of rejection. I'm like pre-rejecting myself in like, you know. But it's also like, I feel like this Leo person's like, I got your back. I don't really fit in over here anyway. So like, we're both going to just stand out at the reunion, you know, or whatever. Like, I know how to do my hair to fit in, but like also like on the inside, I don't really fit in over here, you know? But yeah. So I just feel like there could have been something here of like, I actually think it's more the Leo person. And I think the Leo person actually got that from both sides. Like in their family, it was like, what's wrong with them? You know? And then like, and nothing's wrong with them. It's like their heart that they're kind of showing. But it also is like, what's wrong with them possibly is like the way this family has treated this Leo person. It's like, they're not like us. They don't want to like be like we are, you know? And I think that it's supposed to bring up some level of reflection, but this was like tearing someone to shreds and calling it, this is like, what do they call it when you, like when you dissect the frog. It's like that, but this person's like full alive. And people are like trying to dissect the frog, and the frog is like full alive. And it's like and they have they're like, this is science. And it's like, you're being cruel. This is torture. What you're doing is torture. So like the nuances really matter here. That could be this Aquarian group. We're doing science. And it's like, you're doing torture is what you're doing. So, yeah. Anything else? There's a receptivity here. There is like that deep psychic connection. There's a receptivity because as soon as I start pointing this stuff out, I feel like this Aquarius person is like turning, and then they are actually kind of addressing certain things. But I feel like, yeah, this is all about seeing the world differently. This is questioning your own bias. This is questioning your own bias, which again, that's what scientists do. But the whole thing about it is I feel like this group might say like, well, I don't have any biases. But if you have studied science, you know, that's not what they teach you. They teach you do have a bias, and you have to know that, and you have to own what your bias is. And that's the way that you become neutral when you're doing experiments, is you have to check your bias. You have to say, I'm inclined to believe the hypothesis that I set forward. I'm partial to that. I have to be able to set that to the side. So there's a way that they think the world works over here, this Aquarian group. And I think part of it is they think that they're being rejected on the face of this or that. I'm getting that in some instances, this Aquarius person or Aquarius group of people, and I think they were rejected during, this is so key. This Aquarius person or people during times of their life, significant times of their life where they felt really hurt, they were rejected on the basis of their behavior. They were rejected on the basis of not behaving well. They were rejected on the basis of not being considerate, of not looking at other people. There's a self-absorption here of like, all they could see was their own pain. All they could see was that. Or like, again, maybe they got in their head. They were the ones that were more, this is some of the time here. And they are trying to pull this apart for these people. Whereas like some of the time you were so focused on your aesthetic and you were so sure that you were going to be rejected, or you were so sure that even if it wasn't an aesthetic based thing, it's like you were still so sure that you were going to be rejected that inevitably you were, like, you kind of self-sabotage the situation. And inevitably you were rejected. And you told yourself that it was because of the collar that you were wearing around your neck instead of the way that you absolutely did not care about how you were making other people feel. Like, if you come in, like Aquarius can do this sometimes, or Uranus can do this, which is the ruler of Aquarius, can come in and like just set the banner down. And it's like, blah, rah, rah. You know, I'm different. And then people will be like, this is a Wendy's. Like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. And they're not actually, and they're like, these people hate liberty. They hate what I'm standing for. And it's like, they actually don't. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Like, they do or they don't. We haven't gotten that far yet because your behavior is like inconsiderate, because you see that lady over there and how her kid's crying, and now how like they're crying even more. You see how you're not helping anybody in their situations because you're not aware. That's why you've been rejected. It's not because of the collar around your neck. It's not because you like to wear leather. Okay. It's not because, I don't want to be you. Don't want to be just like you. Right. And it's like, you can also have like your things and like still be aware of people. So that's what this experience with this Leo person, I think, has actually like been meant to reflect back, is like, we were the mean girls. We behaved atrociously. Our social skills are lacking because, we're saying that, oh, well, we have every right to do this or that, like to examine this Leo person. But the person part fell by the wayside. The Leo part was what they were attacking, and that they forgot that this was like a person, because this is not somebody who is like going around harming people. I think that I'm hearing scapegoat. So I feel like the way that they all feel like scapegoated by society, like, oh, they think that we're this or they think that we're that. Like this Leo person, they're just scapegoating a whole bunch of shit onto this like one person who is probably not a perfect person, but they're not what they're saying that they are. And then they're attacking. It's a straw man. They've created a straw man out of this person, and then they attack this like straw man. And so it's showing that like the same thing exists in both. So the hidden feelings here are along the line. The hidden feelings on the Aquarius side, this like more Aquarius side of things, it's the chip on their shoulder. It's the arrogance. It's the jealousy. It is, it's superiority. Actually, it's superiority. And then the hidden feelings over here on the Leo side is betrayal and hurt and just utter disbelief, because I think they were trying to go somewhere because they don't fit in. They feel, whether you're the Leo person or the Aquarius person in this particular dynamic, you have both energies strong inside of you. And so like this person feels different, like, but because they have a certain aesthetic, that's what's weird about this Aquarius group. It's like, well, because you have that certain aesthetic, you have to stay over there. Like you belong over there. And this person's like, so it doesn't matter like about my insides and my heart. You're not going to take the time to get to know me. So this is the whack-a-mole. This is like, we're just pushing it down so it can pop over here. We're not resolving like the root of the issue. That's what this is like meant to kind of show. It's like, so if you were so upset that you were rejected, you have to understand like the nature of like where that is coming from, the way that like on a human level, like how all humans are that way. And you have to see beyond the aesthetic. You have to see beyond the color. I'm not going to spend my life being a color. Like that's what I actually feel like for some, that's what like this Leo person is saying. It's like, why am I not fitting over here? But it's like, I'm the one that's not spending my life being a color. And I thought that we agreed on that, but then why am I getting like, anyways, I feel like there's something here like that. It's very superficial. It's like somebody here is like just, drawn into the aesthetic of things. But also I feel like maybe this Aquarius person gets judged within their Aquarian group where it's like, but you like the Leo person, so what are you, some type of poser? Like your heart must not be Aquarian like us. So people are missing the depth. People are missing that. The group is missing that in regards of like their own person here. And this person's actually so Aquarian that they're like, the group should be made of eclectic groups of individuals, which includes this person here. We can't have a couple of these, ¿Por qué? Why? Why can't we have a couple of those? Or a lot of those? Like why, if we're really about the group and we're really about self-expression and people being able to be what they want, then why you're excluding somebody over here on the basis of something that you're making up in your mind. And that's what we're supposed to be against, So, okay. I think I'm going to leave that there. I could probably go on and on and on because there is a real depth here, and it comes from the connection between these two people. There is like that real, it's scorpionic, it's transformative. There is a depth here. It's very transformative where it's almost like something here is like they get a peek inside like the other person's world, mind, psyche, operations. And also like, how when you sleep with somebody, you really do kind of get to know them on like a deeper level. And I think these two have done that together. And I think that there's something in that where it's like, oh, I understand that I know that you're not the way that people have painted you because I've kind of seen you in that moment, so I know that you're different. And if that didn't happen, then I feel like that's maybe something that's like part of the confusion here. Like had it happened, where these two were like in a relationship and doing that, I think that might have, I think that it would have dispelled certain stereotypes about like the other, about the other one. So, okay, that was pile number 1. Because I'm actually absolutely shattered, actually. Glad to be free in any case. I don't have to stick around to watch. Yeah. It's not because you like wearing leather, LMAO. Okay, so we're just going to throw the piles back up here. If you're just joining us, you have joined us at an excellent time because we just finished pile number 1, which is the warrior. And we're moving on to pile number 2, which is the ring. And we don't know what's going to be in there yet because it's new. It's a mystery. It's an adventure. We all stand at the precipice and we're adventurous together. Let me just put my lipstick on.
Yeah, put that lipstick on.
My lipstick brings all the boys to the yard. Sorry. Alex is like, who is in our yard? It's just me. I always say that I'm going to put Alex in the yard whenever we have a disagreement because my mom used to say that to me as a kid, all in good fun. But like, it kind of makes the point where it's like, my mom used to tell me that if I was going to act like a barnyard animal, she was going to put me in the yard. So now I say that to Alex. Don't make me put you in the yard right now. We'll be on vacation and he's like, there's no yard for you to put me in. And I will put you in someone else's yard. I'll find a yard that I find suitable and I will put you in that yard. Okay, anyways. Anyways. Let us compassion. The girlies are putting men in corners nowadays. I've sort of noticed that with myself too. And actually, let's have that like heart to heart, because I do these tarot readings online. I realize that that's what a lot of people only see of me, is like online. And then like I tap into certain things where it's like there are, I mostly read for women who are mostly interested in men. There's different people that are mixed in with that, and you are very welcome here. But that's usually like the kind of dynamic. And so dissecting that, I think it's worth reminding us that like this is not all men. This is like certain people that are struggling with certain things. And even so, the reason, in my opinion, at least, like that they're that way is because they're struggling with the same things that we are all struggling with growing up under patriarchy, cultures, trying to fit in. And I do really feel for men, because I think that they are pulled in a couple of different directions, where like even culturally. So if you grow up in Islam or Christianity, there is a certain expectation that you are moral and that you are upright. And that's that kind of like cultivating of the yang energy, that masculine energy that says, I will walk straight through hell with a smile. Hell being the earthly realm where there's everything that's kind of like pulling on you. And it's like, I set my course, I set my decision. We all have yang energy within us. But then they also have groups where they're told that their masculinity depends on them dominating over other people, stealing from other people, especially women, and like kind of sleeping around, and they're caught in between the two. So our society does give men mixed signals. And I do actually think that it is a strong calling and a big challenge. I really, just as a person, and like this particular, like this tarot reading stuff, like, and tapping into like love, the thing that I can't stand cheating. I really can't. I can't stand schmegsual violence of any kind. And I really can't stand emotional violence. And it's an overlapping of the two. I cannot stand it. And like, there are other places where I feel like I can have infinite patience with men, even when they're like being patriarchal douchebags. But for some reason, it's just the way that it's the schmegsual stuff. It's the building their identity off of that I really cannot stand it. And I want the smoke. I want to be the wall that somebody runs right into, and I want to push them down. And I want to be like, the fact that you are emotionally and schmegsually abusive doesn't make you cool, period. And I don't care anything else about you until you fix it. And I want that. And I really feel like if more people were like, they need people who in their lives, and this is us on the back end, us girlies. And because I feel like we can't lose support for women who have been genuinely victimized, like in life altering ways because of this kind of treatment. If you've ever been through those kinds of things, emotional scarring, schmegsual scarring, you're going to be working through that your entire life. It's essentially taking a life. And I feel like it has to be a no. I feel like it has to be a hard no. But I sincerely hope that men have their spaces, and and you're starting to see that, and it warms my heart so much. You are starting to see strong men, good men come out and say, I really don't know where the wires got crossed, where we think that it's cool to use our superior strength, because that's the other thing that I find abhorrent. I'm a bit scared of men. And I'm scared of men because of the men I know. Not because of the men that I don't know. The men that have hurt me, I knew them. And they were supposed to be my friend. And they were supposed to care about me. And they were supposed to make sure that nothing happened to me. And that's the thing that I was told. I was told that that was what men are. And to find out that that isn't, at the very least that it's not purely what they are, that actually they're very like selfish creatures, that has been the most devastating thing of my entire life. It has been the thing that makes me feel unsafe everywhere. Unsafe walking upon the earth. And I do think that that is such an indictment on men. I think that we should feel safe in our schools and our homes. And I think that if men were safe and if they were emotionally healthy, and that's not even just on men, the reason that men aren't emotionally healthy and that they're not taught to explore their emotions, which is why it's important for us to talk about how we raise young men, you know? And so anyways, I don't want to get on my soapbox too much, but yes, I agree. I sincerely hope that they have people. And like I said, I feel like they do have it. They're starting to have it more and more. You're starting to see men come out and say like, actually, I really don't think that it's cool to coerce people. Like, I don't know how it makes you cool to have to coerce people into schmegs. I don't know how it makes you cool to not like be an integrated person of yourself and walk that out into the light and to have to like kind of like duck and hide. I don't know why Andrew Tate is seen as so cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, you have so many men that are like really saying that now. And I sincerely hope that that grows. And I hope that they have therapists that are able to like walk them through. But I feel like the place in which we are victimized is not the place in which we are expected to hold hands for other people. And sometimes the best that I can do, and I'm just saying this for you as well, because this is the trap that I got stuck in for a long period of time, is thinking that compassion, like I have to be, a lot of women think this, we have to be ever giving to everybody. I have to be compassionate. Well, the thing is, I can be compassionate and I can understand your human experience and know that it hurts me at the same time. I can also be compassionate towards myself, and I can understand that it's not my place to help you. I sincerely hope that there is somebody that I know for a fact God put somebody on this earth to help you, and it is not me, because you actually have amends to make with me and people like me. And that's something that's held. You don't get a pass. You know, compassion doesn't mean that you have to be that limp noodle that's like, oh, okay. And then they still are allowed back in the house around your kids. You know, like, no, like you can be strong at the same time. And so this like apparently really hits. So I hope you don't feel like I'm going off on you, like whoever wrote that, because I feel like we're probably on the same page. But I'm saying like, I feel so protective of that, because that was the thing where it's like, I realized that I was basically bred from a young age to be exploited and to allow like my dad in particular to kind of get a pass. Like I think that he kind of raised me to be blind to all the places that he was lacking as a person, so that my dad really likes to be praised. And I could tell you some like weird ways. Like, actually, let me tell you this. And I don't know why I feel embarrassed, okay? But my dad used to have me and my sister sometimes, like it was kind of jokey and like in good fun, but he used to have us call him Big Daddy O'King. And I was like, what the fuck? Like now, like I think back to that, because my dad is like, it's disgusting. And my dad is like...
It's disgusting and... I'm not... Okay.
Yeah.
Every time you bring that one up, it's just like, I can't...
Me too. I can barely think about it.
Short circuits my goddamn brain.
I can barely think about it. But yeah, it's like, because he wanted to be a king, but he didn't want to do the work on the back end. And I just think it's appropriate for you to be held accountable. And I think that women should hold people accountable for... Anyways. Okay, so anger can be righteous. This is hitting so hard. Maybe this is part of this reading. Maybe this is the hidden feelings in this, you know, where it's like, maybe this is the hidden feelings. Whoops. Let's go to pile number 2. So perhaps this is the hidden feelings, because that was just so raw, real, and visceral. And there was like a lot of thought process, but also like this is something that, again, I've chewed through for a long period of time. So I feel like, this is something that has been brewing, and I actually feel very coherent. Like in this part of myself, I feel very coherent, where it's yes and energy. And I am that Gemini, and I got some Saturn right there too. That is like, I have to, this yes and energy, where it's like, it's yes and the way that we talk about things, there's certain things where it's like, I'm sick of always being so conciliatory to other people, but not insisting that they be conciliatory to me. Because if they're not, it's like, if they're not being that, then, and all I have to go on is like being kind and being a doormat, and I have so much patience for you, but you're hurting me and you have no patience for me. Like, no, at some point, like that's got to flip. Anyways. Okay. So let's see. Anyways, I have to get off my soapbox.
There's a lot of daddy issues going on in the chat.
Shout out to the daddy issue crew. Speak it out, girl. Thank you guys for letting me say that thing about my dad, because I don't know why I would feel embarrassed about it. It just makes me feel a type of way. And I just feel like being able to say it out loud, the fact that I feel like I can say it out loud on the internet is crazy. So thank you for that. Anyways, okay. So, okay, pile number two. Spirit. What are their secret feelings?
I want to kick everybody. All the dads that they're talking about in the chat right now, I want to kick every single one of their asses right now.
Alex, I have to say, this is not performative at all. Alex has been such a part of my journey. I just need to like shouting out good men, because my life is that I live with a good man like every single day, and I have for the last 15 years. And Alex was more of a feminist than I was. Like growing up, I didn't realize how much like internalized misogyny that I had. And Alex was always be the one that was like, no. And still, like, not just when it comes to women's issues, like when it comes to other issues, as well. He's like, you always have to look beneath the surface, because Alex is very smart and he's like very good with like patterns and stuff. And he also like has this fearlessness around just looking at reality as it is. And I don't really have that, because I've always soothed myself with telling myself lies about people, especially men that hurt me. Oh, well, I'm sure they were confused. They're not, babe. A lot of them aren't. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they want. And that's what they're showing you. they're showing you that they don't value you as a person. They're showing you that they value a piece of your body. And I always hear that Olivia Rodrigo song, like you sold me for parts. And that to me just hits so much, because that Venus energy is like a woman. Venus rules over women, but like you're supposed to be taken like kind of all together, but like to chop her up into parts and to sell them off, like, because Venus is value. So gross. And our society does that. Anyways, okay, so I don't know where we should start this pile, just saying, because it might have started like way before I even put the pile number 2 up, just letting you know. Okay. Yes, these are my hidden feelings. Okay, so maybe it's hitting. So for pile number 2, Spirit, what are their hidden feelings?
We're all part of the grow up and hate your dad for real club.
You know, and even that, where it's like, there's still things that like I love about my dad, but I just can't be around him because he's not taking accountability. I'm hearing Dr. Ramani in my head. That's like, she's talking about narcissism, and you know how we're having this conversation as a society, and like she's like, but we do have to understand that like just because you don't like somebody, or just because you know, that's not everything is an indictment, you know. And so like with this, it's like I feel like it's not an indictment. I feel like I have like a nuanced view about certain people that have hurt me. I also feel like I cannot be around them, because like what she says is the reason that you gray rock and you can't make amends with narcissists in particular is because they are incapable of coming down to earth and like getting in touch with reality. They're also incapable of taking responsibility, and they will weaponize your own accountability against you. And so there can be no actual healing. The only thing you can do is like go through the motions, and it will never be truly Libran like it can be with a healthy person who can actually take accountability. It'll never be truly equal like that. So you'll just go through the performance, and then you'll still come out and you're like, I don't know, we said all the right things, but then it'll still come out like this. And it's like pushing that away. It's like somebody has really seen through the veil here, is what I want to say. So what are their hidden feelings? I literally cannot even get a card out because it's like so much there, and it is very well churned, like whatever this is. Okay, the other thing that I do want to say is I think that this somehow dynamic between you and this person, whoever it is that you're asking about, this taps into something where it's like you have to go straight to the source in order to understand what they're trying to say. So like there's difference in perspectives here. And I think that comes from like lived experience. So this is kind of like somebody has like a superficial understanding of somebody else's feelings, and that's as far as they'll go. But they're like, yeah, I hear it, like you feel hurt or something like that. But they also sort of dismiss those feelings at the same time. This is like somebody who is white that's like saying that they're not racist, but like they have people who are different colors, and they're like, no, this is racism, and they're arguing back like, well, how can it be racism because like my best friend is brown, you know? And it's like, no, and they're trying to explain to you like a deeper experience that you don't understand, that you possibly can't see, but you're like shutting down because you think that you understand an experience that you don't, but the ways in which you don't understand it, it's like from the inside out. There's like an emotional quality of it. And then what those emotions and walking around with those emotions does to a person, like on an every single day kind of level. Because then this starts to spiral and it affects that. And then I start to not feel great about myself. And then I don't want to put myself out there. And then that compounds into a lot of missed opportunities. And there's this like hidden cost is what I'm getting. But I also feel like for some of you, this is like a feminine kind of thing. It feels invisible labor is what it feels like. And also maybe even being stuck between the two. Yeah, it's like some type of like, there's an invisible cost. There's an invisible labor. I'm also hearing that song, Paloma, it's labor, but it's spelled like the British way, Labour. You make me do too much labor. That's what I'm getting. You make me do too much labor. Okay, so can I get a card? Any card. Can I get a card? Spirit. Okay, so what are this person's feelings? I want to like kind of dissect I'm interested to know what the dynamics are here, but what are this person's feelings? Look, the devil. They feel like somebody is like reaching out here like for the devil. It's mind games. There's some type of like mind game here where it feels like there's a minefield in front of this person, but it's a minefield that is made up of semantics. It's because somebody isn't actually... Okay, so when I grew up Christian, there was this song. I always loved the song because it confused me. For some reason, I love things that confuse me. Maybe that's another thing here with this person. But it was like, listen with your eyes, and see all you want to see. You can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow. There's another one that was like, but it would like flip all the senses because it was like, you know, taste with your ears and like, you know, and I was just so confused by that. I was like, does anybody know what this song means? Like, is what I wanted to say to my fellow children. Like, but I feel like it's like you need to listen with your heart. You need to listen to with the part of you that is experiential, and don't listen with the mind. That's what this person, that's their hidden feelings. That's why they're angry at you. That's why they want to like, because you don't get it. You know, like there's something here. It's like, you don't get it because you don't listen with your heart. You don't listen with your like empathy. You don't listen with your empathy. You don't actually, in a sustained way, put yourself in someone else's shoes. And if you do, you only do it for a second, because now I'm seeing, so I worked this hard job one time. Like it was very labor intensive. There was no air conditioning. I got paid $50 a week because it was considered volunteer work. Anyways, it was like exploitative. But the HR department was like, we're going to send somebody to work, you know, there so that they understand you and then they can come back and advocate for you. And everybody hated this lady because it's not her fault, but like she showed up, she did like a day's worth of work, and she wasn't like trained in anything. So she wasn't actually helping us out. And she would walk around and like twirl her rag and stuff, like, which is dirty. You shouldn't do that. Like you're just flicking bacterias everywhere, you know, but it's like, just like, and she would wave to people. And so we would all like, that was, this is so mean, but it's like, you know, we would all like, we would be on the runway and we'd walk by, like we're like pouring sweat, and we would just like walk by and be like, like after she left, we'd be like, oh, is this your job every day? Like, you know, like didn't understand, because she couldn't have understood. She would have had to work that job for at least 3 months. She would have needed trained on multiple different stations. And she wasn't willing to do that because of how hard the job was. You know, she didn't want to experience that. You know, the sweat dripping down your butt crack for 8 hours a day, and like the anger, you know, when you're overheated, like your anger like increases. So she had absolutely no fucking clue what it was like to live in that experience, but she thought she did. And that is what made it worse, kind of like, so I feel like there's something here where it's like, listen with your empathy. There's like a rage here. And I think like whoever's on the other side of this, they're like, I try. And this person is like, the way in which you try. It's not try harder. It's like the way in which you try upsets me. Okay? Because the way in which you try makes you somehow more, it's like I'm seeing a giant slippery wall where it's like there is no way to get through to you. Because then you build up this like idea in your mind that you do understand something that in reality you don't understand. And there's an unwillingness to understand it from a visceral level of like actually putting yourself in the experience of somebody who has lived it, and actually learning and actually saying, hold on, let me not have an opinion about this, and let me like put that off to the side and like hear and truly feel and experience where I might be wrong. Because in order to do that, it's like when this person's in front of you and when this person's talking to you, you're not talking back. But I feel like that's something that's gone on here. And it's defensive. And even if you don't say and you respond, if you respond with any level of like a like well thought out argument or something where you're like, but also let me put this forward. You're just in a land of defensiveness, because like to truly understand this, and I'm getting this, like there's like a deep experience here. You would have to be silent for like 3 weeks, and you would have to continue to put yourself in their position empathetically. So you'd wake up on a Tuesday and say, okay, so if this was my reality here today, like how would I feel? Okay. And then I can't just step out of it, you know, because then you wake up Wednesday and you're like, okay, so like, if I didn't get the relief of like stepping out of that, you know, it's like, ooh, that was hard, but it was like overcome. You think it's like surmountable because you stepped out of it because you were able to step out of that reality for a minute. So like, there's something here like that where it's like, I'm really not understood, but it's like, I'm not understood on a human level. I'm not understood. Like you won't even try, like you don't even know that you're not like any empathy that is shown. It's very small. It's a very small amount of empathy. It's not like sustained. It's not like, you know, this is a tough one to sit with. That's another thing that's like frustrating, because for them, they're like, okay, I'm dealing with all this like turmoil. I've been through something here and it feels prolonged. This feels like the kind of like you got PTSD. I'm not saying that this is what it is. You got PTSD, which is like some type of momentary thing. But then you got like this CPTSD, this complex, this like compounding thing. And it's like relentless on this person. It's like something they can never escape from, you know, because of their skin color, because the society always sees them associated with this particular group. So they'll never, ever like, oh, they'll never understand. Like, you know, it's like that. And it never, ever, ever goes away. And like, that's the part that I feel like they feel like you don't get. But also, it's like, It does have something to do with an ending here. It has to do with a conversation, though. There's a way in which a conversation has unfolded that feels like a betrayal in itself. And they don't think that you understand that. It's not just about the thing that they're trying to say to you. It's about the way that the conversation unfolds that feels like it's a betrayal in and of itself. And the conversation continues to unfold that way because whoever they're talking to doesn't get it. And they don't understand that it's very clearly seen that they don't get it because of the way that they're engaging in the conversation. And it is on an air level, and I think this person feels frustrated too because it's like the best tools that they have to use, and maybe it's not really, but like in the moment, they can't buy you a flight somewhere and like, I took this self-defense class once and my instructor was so crazy in a good way. He was such an intense guy, but he was like, if I could, I would make you sign a waiver where I would kidnap you during your week. Like, so it would be a week's time period and you would never know when I was coming. And I was like, you are fucking scaring me right now. Like, cause like, which is the point, but it's cause he's like, cause you never know what's coming. And how do you know if you're like prepared? And we have to like put you in that kind of scenario. And I'm like, you're nuts. But it's like, so if outside of this person, like kidnapping you and forcing you to actually like live out an experience that you think is real, like then the only best tools that they have at their disposal is their words. And like, then they have to trust you to like listen to the words and to actually turn those words into a visceral experience for yourself. And that's the thing that's not happening. It's only happening on like a mental level or a psychological, because for this person, it's like, it's not a concept to them. It's not a concept to them. It's the thing they're so desperate. They need help. I'm seeing this person like bloody and bleeding. It's a real experience. This person's like, this is real pain here. It's not conceptual pain. But because they're speaking to you in words, it's easy to turn it into a concept. And they're like, it's not a concept. And they feel so stuck because they're like, the only thing that I can do is try to get you to understand this from like a conceptual level. And I don't know how to make you care about other people. That's what it is. Okay, so what are this person's secret feelings? This person does not want to accept something that you're offering here because they feel like they're going to get back into some type of like mind game thing. Again, because this person is like, they feel mentally tortured oh God, I'm so sorry. They feel mentally tortured from having a conversation with you or like from having like this conversation over and over again. Maybe you guys get along fine in like other areas. And that's probably why you still want to reach out to this person is because you're like, we get along in other areas. But this person is like, you ignoring me being like bloodied like this. No. Do I want to go get a cotton candy with you and sit on the Ferris wheel? I sure don't. I really don't. Try to understand that. Like, and I think like there's, you hear a lot of this talk where it's like, well, I don't understand why, like if it makes you feel bad, like why keep bringing it up? And it's like, you don't have a choice to bring it up. This is trauma. So somebody here I don't think they understand trauma or like if they've had trauma themselves and, this is very true. Speaking from somebody that came from like the Midwest, this is very true. Like a lot of those people have trauma themselves, but the way that they deal with it is suppression. They don't know that they're suppressed. They don't know that they're repressing certain things because they're like, well, yeah, well, I get over it. They're dissociated. Like they don't even know that like, that's the thing. Like they haven't felt those feelings. They just conceptually relate to it. And they're trying, it's weird because I feel like this person's almost trying to say like, dissociate, it'll make you feel better. And to them, that's like a loving thing. But for you, it's like you need this uprooted at the root, and it's not going to get uprooted at the root if everybody just sort of lives in, remember like the Stepford Wives, like if everybody's kind of like, hi, or Brave New World where like you take a pill and you're just like, hi, that's not the way out. Like this person wants real change. This person wants things to be different, not just for them too. They want pain out of the world is what they want. This is like a righteous, like, okay, anything else? Like, what are this person's hidden? They just feel like you don't see them. And I think you're like, I see you. I'm in conversation with you. I'm standing right in front of you. I'm trying to understand. And this person is like, because the way that you mirror them back in a conversation, they're like, you really don't get it though. Like, you really don't get it. I think that this is maybe like going on both sides, but I can just see that there's a person here of like real pain. Somebody said avoidant LOL since they never say it, they want mind reading. It could be that. It also could be, like a lot of people confuse avoidance with narcissists. Narcissists don't have empathy, they don't have feelings, and they use people cruelly. Avoidance, especially fearful avoidance, they want love more than anything. They just have this like inner push and pull where it's like, I need to feel safe. And a lot of times it's not even maybe because you're not safe, but it's like, I don't know how to trust. Like, I don't know how to trust you. Like, please help me, like learn how to trust you. But also it's okay. This is like another tangent. So maybe, because also fearful avoidance, not necessarily a submissive avoidance, but fearful avoidance, they're pattern recognition, but it's not coming from a place of, the prefrontal cortex. It's not coming from a place of air energy. They don't want to pay attention to the patterns. It's their defense, like alarm system. So if you say one thing and do another, even if like you didn't mean to, like you, I don't know, like you just don't, sometimes like we don't always see ourselves clearly, or like our cycles and stuff ebb and flow, but they'll pick up on something that is kind of like a lie. And then this person's like, that person's a liar and I have to protect myself. Why are they lying? What are they trying to do? They're trying to get one over on me. They're like, it's this like kind of spiral because of what happened in like their past, and they don't know how to break that cycle. So like that's potentially part of it as well. And they soothe through like moving away. And that's maybe, I'm hearing for some of you, that's what they want you to know. I soothe through moving away, where you soothe through closeness. There's also a reading that's coming out on the channel that goes into this like a lot deeper. I'm going to let it speak for itself, but because it's like, it's a whole thing and it took me a while to kind of like wind through that. But the essence of it is like, cause for anxious attachers, they think that closeness is love, and it's not. So I think there's like maybe a misunderstanding too of like, you don't want my closeness, and they feel rejected, and then they get scared that everything's going to go wrong. And it's like, well, then you don't want love, and closeness and love are two different things. Proximity and love are two different things. So, okay. Anyways, moving on to this. I try being transparent and clear, and she just goes along with it without input that's effective. Thinking in absolutes. Yeah. I was cracking up as you went off about, oh yeah, I heard Alex snickered as you were going off. What? The protectors of predators, and we don't question that enough, right? Yeah. So yeah, with certain people, they gaslight me about that. Okay, so is there anything else? Because I kind of feel like this person's like a bit run out of steam. And I feel like that's kind of what this person is like. It's this like big thing, and then like they kind of run out of steam, and they're like tired, and they have to kind of, move away. Oh boy. What are this person's secret feelings? I think they're feeling like they want to move on. They need some type of stability here. So it's like they feel like this was really hurtful, and they kind of feel like they need to scrap it. This person kind of feels like they need to scrap it, and they want to kind of like start over. I think for some, I need a hero. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like this person, that's a secret feeling. I think it might even be stuffed into the shadow for some of these people, but it's like, help me. Like, I need help. Like, I don't know how to break this cycle, because I don't know how to break the cycle of feeling like unsafe, or like feeling unheard, or like having these conversations that in and of themselves are torturous to me because of the way in which people don't have empathy. Like they don't hear from like that place of, yeah, I just saw a big ear like on a heart. So is there anything else that wants to come through? And I think I'm going to move this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so another secret feeling is that this person feels like things need to change, but they would feel scared. Are you okay?
Yep.
They would feel scared if, okay, so their secret feeling is they feel like things need to change, but they would feel scared if you actually started putting in the work and changing. Like with these seeds that are planted here, like if you actually started to like change, like it would make this person feel unsafe in a different way. But it would also quiet them down, and they would be kind of like confused, and they would be kind of like watching. I'm seeing this person just like, they're like, okay, like the world's changing. So, or like you're changing, or like it would confuse them because they wouldn't know if it was like lasting change, and they would have to wait and see. And then they would have to kind of like release this, maybe argument. Like they would have to release something and like kind of start over. And that is also a scary prospect for this person as well. Like learning something else, because these, something here has like kept them safe. They've figured out like where the unsafe things are. And so they kind of have learned the hard way how to keep themselves safe in a dog eat dog world, or in a dog eat dog relationship, or like whatever that is. And so also it makes them feel scared to kind of like put their weapons down, and to really trust that whatever change you make is actually going to stick, because there's always a possibility that it doesn't. And it could not stick immediately after you think you get the thing up and running, or it could not stick, 10 years in or something like that. But this person's like, okay, now this is like, I have to trust the flow. I have to go with the flow and like trust. Yeah. So this person's scared. There's a lot of fear here. Because of what this person's been through, they really don't want it to happen again. They really need it not to happen again, because it was just so devastating and destructive. And this person really, really needs to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you care, but not just that you care from a policy perspective or from like a superficial perspective. They need to know that you understand the horror that they're describing and why it can't happen to anybody else. Like, they need to know that they need to feel you're in the fight with them, just the same as if you had experienced it yourself, and they need to know that the thing that they're kind of up against the same as they do, Okay. And maybe for some of you, I got to say, like, not for everybody is this like, are they on like the right side of things, like maybe from your perspective, like, I think for most of you, they are. I think for most of you, they understand an experience that you couldn't possibly understand. But I'm saying you, or like the proverbial you. Even if it's not you, it's like, there's no way that like you, the proverbial you, could understand. And so this person's like sort of desperate to be understood. And I think that's for the bulk of you. But there is like a small group of people here where this person's wrong. We played a game the other day where one of the cards said like, when your girlfriend starts talking about work drama, but she's like in the wrong and you don't know what to do, like, so you're just kind of standing there. You want to be like, you shouldn't have done that, like, so it could even be for some of you where it's like this person's like, they have this like experience that's kind of wrong, and they're trying to say like, I need you to get on my side with things, but actually what's actually wrong is something different. And I actually think where we talked about like this could be more of an avoidant person. I feel like for that it's like more of an anxious attacher person, where they're anxious because they need closeness and proximity, but they've been in the wrong in regards of something, because there was some type of like psychological issue. There was a need that was going unmet in this person. They tried to meet it in a way that was wrong, and it was kind of like unacceptable, but they're trying to put a cloak on it of, I think, like closeness, or I just wanted closeness, or I just wanted a relationship, or I'm for this. They're trying to make it fit something here that's something that actually that's not the place that it came from inside of themselves. I want to say like more securely attached. Like they're saying like, I'm securely attached and I'm reasonable and I'm this and I'm that. But actually that wasn't the place where this was like born from. And instead of like actually looking at the root, they're trying to get buy-in from their, I just heard constituencies. They're trying to get buy-in from the people around to rally against something like in a cause that is actually a proper cause in our world, but they are not a victim of that. They are I think they're the one that victimized somebody here, or that they really did hurt somebody that I think was in this, now that either was in this a group of people that experiences something here like this, and they have experienced something like this, or like having dealt with them, they put somebody here in this place of like, now I've gone through this like crazy trauma. I need you to listen and understand like what I was actually put through, because I think that somebody here was like maneuvering because they wanted some type of closeness, and they maybe felt rejected by that closeness, or but they're misunderstanding somebody like on purpose in order to paint themselves as a victim, but in order to be able to rally for a cause. So this is the warlike energy. They're not just saying like, I'm a victim and I was hurt and I'm crying and please understand me. I feel like they're trying to get buy-in in order to get people to like, it's the wrong version of like, I need you to understand this, the same as if like you experienced it, because I need that buy-in. But it's like, don't question anything. Like for that person, it's like, don't question anything. Don't look too closely, and don't expect me to actually like, I think it would be very triggering for this person. It would be hard to tell these two apart, because it'd be very triggering for this person if you were like, we need to actually like pull apart, like, did this really happen the way they are saying that it happened? Like, was that this person's intentions? They would be very protective about that, and they would insist that they stay in the place of trauma. Whereas this other person I think that's the vast majority of you, just so you know, this other person is very heavily churned. It's very cogent here. They're very cognizant. They actually have gone very deep into this experience. They understand it so well. It's invisible labor. They've done so much invisible labor here to where they're really an expert on whatever this is. This other person, and so sometimes somebody like that will be like, when coherent person that understands very deeply, when they're in a conversation with somebody who's seeing more superficial and who I think dissociates, is in a state of like repression or dissociation, they don't want to see like what this person's saying. That person will try to invalidate what that person is saying, but they'll do it under the guise of, oh, I'm just questioning you. I'm just like fleshing out your theory and stuff. But I'm just asking questions, like, but it isn't that. And it's wrong because one person's coming from like this metal place that's like high, it's like pokey with a sharp stick. The other person has had real pain. There's like an open wound and this person's like, I'm just asking questions, and they're like poking this like hard wound. It's really, really a big ask to ask people who have gone through this like level of trauma to become experts and then have to be the ones on the front end, but nobody else understands it on the front wave. You don't have academics yet that like necessarily understand it, or if they do, it's like, there needs to be this emotional component here. So they'll try to invalidate and they'll say that they're just asking questions. And so rightfully, this group will push back and say, you're not just asking questions. You're trying to invalidate like my experience or whatever. Like you're trying to kind of get around that. So this rotten person is kind of takes that, how dare you question me? But that's more, how dare you question me? And it's egotistical and it is, but they don't admit to any of those things. And then they get frustrated because they're like, I'm trying to identify as a victim. And then actually there's, I think maybe a strong group around them that's like, but we can just see that you're not. And that's not the same as you being in like this group of people that have actually been victimized and have actually been hurt. I think that you've been hurt, but I think it's like a narcissistic injury kind of thing. I think you've been called out as not being, it's like not being Susie Cream Cheese or, the male version of that. It's like, you're not innocent. You are, you're an unreliable narrator. The way that you are saying things happened isn't the way that things happened. And when your narration is incorrect, then the conclusions that you draw are incorrect. And there are real consequences to those conclusions being incorrect because you're wanting us to go to war against somebody or against a group of people that, because your starting point was incorrect, those people are innocent and they didn't do anything wrong. And you don't care about that. Is the reflection that they're showing that back. You don't care that an innocent person or an innocent people are being hurt in a ruthless way because you would have them be hurt in a ruthless way to protect your own ego, to protect that false sense of self. And that's the reality of who you are. But you're trying to hide in this like group of people who have actually been victimized. And maybe you're at war with with this person or with this group of people that have actually been victimized. And I kind of actually think that's part of it. But that was like hidden there at the very end. I kind of almost wonder if like that's the person that they're talking to and they're like, this conversation is torturous. Like where they're like, having a conversation with you is its own form of abuse because you are so insistent. But they're not insistent. They don't believe it. Not really. They're clinging to it because they have to cling to it, because if they admit what was actually going on, they are seen as a wrong person, as a rotten person, as an unempathetic person, as somebody. And this person, I think it's giving anxious attachment style, because a lot of anxious attachment styles, when you see the way that they speak about themselves, like on the internet, there's a phenomenon that goes on that side of it you don't really see that so much on the avoidant side. And you obviously don't see it with securely attached people, because securely attached people aren't really a part of this conversation because they are just living their lives. But you see them very much, confusing their anxious attachment style with secure attachment. Saying like, I'm just such a lover person, so leave me be, allow me to. You're still in the insecure attachment club. You still need to work on yourself and heal yourself to be securely attached, because actually what you call, you're just a lover person. Actually, this is like this neurotic need for closeness. And of course it drives people away. And it comes off selfish and it comes off tyrannical. Whereas a secure attached person who is really offering love, they don't have to constantly say, I'm just offering love. Why are you running away from my love? Because it is truly love, and it's picked up as that from the other people. They know that it's love because they know that this person's not like neurotic and then like, flared up and then like holding on to them for dear life. So it feels like, I think there's like some kind of issue like that where it's giving that vibe where it's like, I need to be seen as that this is love, but really it's some type of neuroticism, or it's some type of like cling, or it's and they have to pass off something as love. I think they have to pass off something here. They're telling themselves and other people, and they're trying to convince other people that this part of them that is very disturbed. And I don't mean that in like, mental institution kind of way. I don't think, but it's like, it's agitated. It's like this agitated part of themselves. That is what gave rise to their opposition to this group of people that has actually been traumatized, or to cause them to traumatize somebody. That's the part of them. And they're so desperate to have that be seen as love because they don't want to do the work. But this person may also be adept at saying, but I'm processing and I'm this and I'm that. But they're not. They're just, they need your buy-in to say, I'm just concerned about you. That's why I'm asking questions. But it's not. it's invalidation and it's this or that. So it's like I'm seeing this very small energy and this very large energy over here. And this is like the real energy. This is like somebody who's experienced a real, pain or whatever. And I think that's also like part of why this is so torturous, is because like this has been so impactful. Something here has been so impactful to somebody here in a horrible way, a way we should absolutely eradicate. Every single one of us should be on the side of this gaping wound in this person and say, this cannot stand in our world. But you have this tiny little voice over here. It's like, I don't know why I'm in opposition to this. I'm in opposition to this because and I have to make that seem reasonable, because if I stand with that, then there's something about me that is going to be exposed. That's what it is. There's something about me that's going to be exposed. And so it's, they have certainly not experienced the impact that this other energy has. They certainly have not. And so it's horrific that they are saying that they have problems in this situation, because there's a real whole host of problems. It's not just one problem over here. It's like problems on problems on problems on problems on problems over here. And then there's like, I feel called out and that's a problem. And I feel abused because I feel called out. You're calling me out and you're calling me bad things and I feel abused by that. And it's like, okay, no. Okay, amazing. Judy got here and couldn't even say hi. I'm enthralled. Just not Judy, lol. Okay. The physical pain. Yeah. Two different things. Stop the abuse, of course. But is not the healing part, is it? Okay, I don't know what that means. That concern is actually a hidden jealousy to gain back a holier than thou authority. Yeah, but they have to be seen as pure. To rival, there is no way that you're a good person and that you're rivaling this energy. It just doesn't exist. There's no way that you're an empathetic person, a concerned person, and rivaling this energy. It doesn't exist. And so, but they have to make it seem like they're coming from a place of that. And so there's this whole like mental gymnastics. They confuse a lot of people. And they pull support from this energy. It's wrong. It's vicious. It's its own kind of violence. But it is a violence. I don't think this person's like a sadist. They're not like, it's not violence for violence sake. They don't like feed off it or anything. It's so selfish is what it is. Like this is just a selfish person. They only care about themselves. And in particular, they only care about the way that they're seen. And I think the way that they're seen gives them a type of authority or a type of power in the world. And that's the thing that they're trying to hide behind. That's the thing that they're scared of losing. They're scared of losing authority and power. And let me tell you the last thing here before we move on. This is exactly the kind of person that should absolutely be nowhere near authority or power. And I think that's the thing that they are trying to run away from. But everyone around them and everyone in our world would be much better if this kind of person had zero authority or power in a social or political or kind of sense. And this person doesn't want to fade quietly into that good night. They don't want to relinquish that and say, I should not be in a position of power or authority. So they're trying to cling to their authority by espousing whatever it is that they're espousing. So it's like, I'm hearing platform, like, so this person kind of like is trying to build this platform of like, are you with me? But they aren't fit for the job. And God is reflecting like, you have no gripes here. Your biggest gripe is that you were seen for what you are. So you're not chosen for this job because you need to go work on that, is what God is like reflecting back to this person. So they're kind of fighting against God to be in there. I don't know what they tell themselves because it feels very zealot, feels very zealot. Okay. So, but they'll project that out onto the other one. They're like, you're being a zealot. And they're like, meanwhile, that person or a group of people is just like bleeding. And they're like, now they're calling us zealots, It's like, imagine, like going through the worst, most horrific, like incident of your life and then having somebody call you like a narcissist, or like, it's like that. Okay. A perfect job for a psychopath. And what's crazy is I kind of feel like this person's maybe not any of those things. They're acting from such a place of like no empathy that they might as well be those things. Like whatever feeling and empathy they have, they're not using it. So they might as well be a psychopath, but I really don't think that they actually are. I think that they're just selfish. What they are is just it's more flimsy than that. It's almost like you would respect a psychopath more because that's kind of their reality. It's like, it's a genuine, it is their genuine, authentic expression. This person, it's not that. It's coming from such a cheap place. It's coming from such a place of selfishness and image and concern with your image in order to build a platform, in order to launch that is self-righteous and that you have your own authority, but you really stand for your own authority and nothing else. And it doesn't matter what really goes on in the world around you because you don't actually stand for a cause. And I think that's been revealed about somebody here. Okay. I feel like that was like big because I started to get like a ringing in my ears that felt like it like hurt to hear something or. Okay. So we're getting moved to pile number 3, which is the vow. Let's compassion this energy. This is somebody who's not showing compassion to somebody else, and we're going to show compassion to them still. That would really grind their gears because I don't know what this person would kind of make of that. I don't know. They would think that it was false or like what, I don't know. But I don't know. This person's a fucking mess. Oh. And unlikable. They're unlikable as well. Okay. Just taking a second here. That was a lot. That was a lot. Okay. So, let us move on to pile number 3. What are their secret feelings? All right. Let us see. Okay. I feel like this person's seeing through some type of illusions. It's like they're seeing through the matrix. Who is this person? I like to usually build a context, but actually I kind of want to go into what are this person's secret feelings. Okay, wow. Person. Okay, interesting. I'm wondering for some of you if this person's like a third party and they are seeing some type of consequences of their actions. This is just for some of you because I think there might be something else here. They're seeing through the consequences of their actions. They're seeing through like the pain and the hurt that they've caused. They're seeing somebody here like trying to beg to get back with their like spouse or to make peace or something here. They're seeing that. And I think they're seeing like the person that they cheated with. I think they're seeing them try to either get back with their spouse or get back to the person that they were and could have been like had they not like devolved together in some way, like jumped into something that was harmful probably for both. But I feel like maybe this third party knew what they were doing in the past because they are starting to kind of like see something clearly. And then they're seeing the partner that they're trying to get back. There's this like hands praying motion, like praying to God for like some type of peace or something like that. So I feel like that's for some of you. That's a situation that's coming through. So what... I mean, and I think this holds true for like, this is maybe somebody who was involved with a third party that is trying to get their person back. They're also seeing through some type of an illusion. Oh yeah. I saw this TikTok short of this woman. It was so, I've actually really liked her channel because she's had a lot of things. I was like, oh, I never thought about that before. But she was talking about, oh dang, it's like flying right out of my mind because it's something that I didn't understand before. So it's like a loose concept for me, but, dang, it'll come back. So, okay. So seeing, she was talking about cheating and she was talking about how like, she was talking about men in particular, how men are not trained with their emotions and how to like kind of sort through their emotions. So if you ask a man why he loves you, he might just say like, because like he doesn't know that he loves you. He knows that he loves you, but he can't identify the specifics of why he loves you. It's just like, I don't know, I just love you. So somebody like that is very like, even if it's not a man, somebody like that is very prone if they meet somebody else, that is because they don't know the specific reasons, which means they don't know the specific value that like they get from their particular partner and from having a stable relationship and things like that. When something else like very shiny comes along, they just get drawn into that and they're like, I just know that I like you. And they get drawn in by that illusion. And what she was saying is that everybody is nice and charming and sweet, like at the beginning of a relationship. So they might like be prone to idealizing that person because they're nice and they're sweet. And it's like, well, but I'm in a relationship here and we know each other, like the nitty gritty details. And so this is actually like, you know, I like the fact that I don't know a lot about you. And because I don't know a lot about you, I can kind of like fill in the gaps around that. But then like it kind of wears off. And in the process of that wearing off, there's a recognition of what they had. And that's maybe why they want to go back to what they had. Because now all of a sudden, those specifics of like, oh, I love you because of this or that, they realize the value that you were bringing. They realize like the specifics, which is one reason why somebody might like want to come back. And it's kind of reminding me of the 80-20 rule, where it's like they got 80% of their needs met over here by a partner. But then there was this like shiny person that met those other 20% of their needs, which is maybe a need for novelty or excitement, or again, that just kind of superficial, charming, nice relationship with somebody that you find attractive. Like that was really all it was like on offer here. That's worn off. They've realized the truth about who that person like actually is. And they're like, I had so much like over here with this person that I wasn't able to kind of see clearly, because whenever I was in touch with my emotions enough to know that I love this person, but I don't know why. I don't know why I experienced the emotions that I'm experiencing. So I feel like there's like some type of like disillusionment here. And it's a kind of disillusionment where it's like they never thought that they didn't love you. Like if you're the person that they like cheated on or like left, or there's some type of third party. I think for some of you, this is the third party though, that is kind of realizing what they did, like the consequences of their actions, like a bit that, yeah, like I think they're realizing if I had truly loved this person in any capacity, like not just like romantically, but I would have walked away because they have so much going on over here. Like, but also like somebody here walked away from something that they like really loved, look, marriage, like from a partner that they really loved. And that you shouldn't really do that. And many moons. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 moons on this card. So it could have been for like 9 months. So there could be like a nod to pregnancy here. Maybe somebody like got pregnant or like wanted to get pregnant is another thing too, where it's like maybe these two people I feel like something could have gotten taken away here. I think this was on the back end. I think this was almost spiritually, energetically. I'm not sure that the third party would even know about this in order to kind of like scheme around it. But I feel like for the partner that got left, I wonder if like their relationship got broken down, like that person ran off with a third party right when they were on the precipice of getting the thing that they really, really wanted. And I feel like that is like, it has a realness to it. It has a social quality. So I think it's like this person could have really wanted love, like, just a relationship, like a really like fulfilling love relationship. It could have been a marriage. So like right before they got married, it could have been a family, it could have been like actually having a child. So maybe somebody here wanted a kid, but they were going to start trying for a kid or something, but then somebody ran off with somebody else, or like while they were pregnant or something, or like maybe this is a person that always knew they wanted 3 kids, and they have that like third kid, and because what they wanted was like the family, and they wanted what they wanted about that was they pictured like the 3 kids in the family. They pictured packing the school lunches. They pictured like going on the vacation stuff. So it feels like right before that was about to happen, that somebody got involved with a third party here, and there was so much pain for like the partner. And I think for some it may have something to do with pregnancy. I don't know, but like something here was like very disillusioned. Like this third party is kind of like seeing the humanity of the people that they hurt, and like the reality. They're seeing the actual reality. I feel like they're no longer kind of like doping themselves up on fantasy and illusion. They're kind of no longer huffing their own fumes like around the situation, riding the high of I got what I wanted. And like, they're no longer doing that. They're actually kind of coming back down to earth and being a human about this. If this is a third party, what are the hidden feelings here? Regret, sadness. Like, I don't know that it's like actually settled in, like for the third party, I don't know that it settled in much, but there is this kind of like aha moment. There's this moment of realization that this person has really had. What are the hidden feelings here? Huh. Okay. Okay, so what are this person's like secret feelings? This person realizes that they should have, I think this is, okay, I really am strongly tapped into this third party here. I really feel like this person realizes that spirit was actually trying to get them to see a higher truth. And they were trying to get them to take the higher cup here in the 4 of Cups. And that they should have like somehow gone on an independent path, or they should have moved slower. Or if they were more confident, they would have moved slower. For some, this third party could like even be with your person, like the person that they like got involved with. And they're kind of realizing, because they're watching this person like want you. They're watching this person like want you back. And even if your person's trying to hide it, because I kind of feel like maybe they go on the balcony or whatever to like stare off into the distance, like they're recognizing this, like something here is like really demystifying here for this person. Yeah. Something about this they're learning about Hierophant. So they're learning about their own intuition, because I think that this third party, I think, has been the villain of the story, to be honest. Like, I think that they acted in a way that was so selfish, and it was so hurt. Like, there's things that were hurt. They didn't act alone, because it takes two to tango. But they are processing from their own perspective. You know how relationships are 100%, 100%, but like sometimes your 100% is like 10% because maybe you got sick or something like that. It's the same thing with accountability. It's 100%, 100%. And that's what I like from this third party. I actually feel like this third party is processing this from like, no, I take 100% of the accountability. At least like for a time, like there needs to be a time where you process the 100% accountability and you don't squirm out of it. And I actually feel like that's what's going on here. And I think they're also realizing that they didn't listen to their own intuition, because something else was like blunting it out. Like it does feel like that. It feels like there's an addiction. And I don't know that it was an addiction to the substance. It could be that there were like substances like that were kind of involved. But I feel like maybe cheating for this third party is like the high, because it probably like, there's something here about confidence. Like, well, I should find healthier ways of like building up my confidence and my self-esteem, or making me feel attractive. So a lot of third parties, especially like there could have been like a family that was on the way. So it's like, I'm so attractive that you would leave, like you have everything, because it feels like that. It feels like it's a trigger. Somebody is in a happy relationship with somebody who loves them. They're hitting like certain milestones. That's a trigger for this person, because it's like, if you will sleep with me, if you'll throw all that away for a night with me, for a stint with me, for that makes me feel attractive. It's like kind of this way of building. I just heard, like they don't want to hear this, but they've heard it and they're processing through it. And I actually feel that they're kind of like, they're holding their hand through this process. They're working through it. Actually, I think they're not like falling into this like self-hatred, which can also be a way of just, again, like not really processing, where they're like, oh, I guess I'm a piece of shit. And it's like, no, there's real things that happened here that, oh, well, it just happened. Because I feel like maybe that's what this third party was telling themselves. It's a lie. Because they're become aware of their like own subconscious, where it's like, no, some part of me is chasing the same pattern out, or like because of the high that it gives me. It's a way that I build my self-confidence or something like that. They can't unsee it. But I think that they go after these things because it's like these like milestones or something, like I don't know. But so they are realizing that they didn't listen to their own intuition, that it was like blunted out by this kind of addictive experience, that they were following this like addictive experience, this high that they were like thinking is going to be the answer. That's not the same as their intuition. Their intuition is something much more subtle than that. And I actually think that this third party has gotten in touch with something more subtle inside of themselves, where they didn't even know it was there. Like, but it's, I think, I just heard shamanic drumming, but not like, it was just dong, dong, dong. It almost feels like sad. It almost feels like sad. Okay. And I just saw them sitting. This is like an inner version of themselves. They just looked up at me and went, hey, this is like, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. This is like an inner version of themselves. It's like the hermit. Cause I'm seeing them sitting alone, like around a fire on a beach or something. And it's like, they were just kind of beating this drum of like mourning, of sadness, of like feeling like not good enough or something. And it's been there alone for a long time. And I think it's showing me that because it's sitting on a beach, it's calm. I think what it brings, what it invites into their life, if they're seeing this clearly now. That was always the intuition, but it was so quiet of a drum beat, you know, because I don't know if there was like a lot of social scenes or whatever too, because I'm hearing like loud, you know, it feels like I'm seeing like The Great Gatsby, you know, but like, you know, it feels like there was socializing and had a brown out, socializing and, there's like a loud band playing, you know, but like beneath it is this tiny like dong, dong, dong. Like this hermit part of them is not like insisting on being looked at or anything like that. But it is there and it's always been there. Because there's something with the drum, I'm getting like a steadiness. It's like, oh, it kind of always been there, but it's subtle and it's like kind of beneath. So it's like this person, sometimes when we feel pain, it makes us feel vulnerable. And instead of dealing directly with that vulnerability, we deal with this. I'm seeing a tiger now. The tiger yonis, they're really sexy. They're kind of like, I walk into the room and everybody looks at me kind of thing. And that's the thing that makes them feel worthy, you know? So as long as I have that, and maybe this person was like maybe they felt like they were losing that. Maybe this person, I don't know, for some reason they feel like they've lost some confidence or some like attractiveness, for some reason. But I think that they're trying to kind of grasp onto that because I'm seeing that line. So they present this image of like being very sexy, very, very confident, this like kind of flirty game of chase. Like, don't you want to chase me? But really, if you're chasing this person, they're actually the one chasing you, kind of thing. It's like that. And that was all very alluring, but it was also like, you ever just eat something and it takes over your taste buds entirely. And then, you try to eat something else after that and you're like, I literally cannot taste anything else. Like after I had that strong, bold flavor, this thing for them, it's a strong, bold flavor. And so they can't taste anything more subtle. But this that they just become aware of is more subtle. They realize that their intuition was always guiding them in a different direction, like to kind of have them come over and sit with this part of themselves. And so I'm seeing I really like this person's hermit energy, to be honest. Like I actually really like it. It's actually really special. And I'm seeing it on a beach because I feel like this person maybe does have this like very social quality or capacity. But because I feel like, again, it's like hanging out on a beach. I'm hearing like confiding, relating, intimacy, like actually building this kind of intimacy. But it's like from this hermit place. It's like, let's build something from this hermit place of being alone, of being maybe older or like not worried so much about like our materialism or like our looks, and it's like sitting around this fire, this like kind of warmth. This person actually does have this warmth to them. And I'm also getting like the peace and tranquility of the beach, like when there's nobody else there and it's just you, kind of like it's dusk. I'm seeing this hermit like kind of at dusk, but it's showing me like in a particular moment in time because like I'm seeing there be friends and family come out like and roast marshmallows with the hermit, and it's this kind of peace. It's just like, yeah, I'm satisfied, like having, these are the people that I love, like, around me and it's nighttime out now and we're all sitting around the fire and it's just light little pitter patters of laughter. There's a lightness here. Because I feel like this person, there's a calm quietness that's kind of filled with background noises. This is reminding me of, I grew up on a lake and I grew up at the place where people would, it was across from Goat Hill, and people would park their boats on there and water carries sound. So in the summertime, especially, I'd be laying there trying to go to sleep, but I would hear, especially if it was like the weekends, like sometimes there'd be a boat parked over there. They'd have a bonfire going. You could see it out the window. And it just made me feel this sense of peace and calm, knowing that there were people around, but it would carry their voices. You'd hear little lilts of laughter every once in a while, the sounds of life. Like that's kind of what I'm seeing here. This person has sort of seen that part of them and they do want to cry, but they want comfort and they're not being too hard on themselves here. I think this person's genuinely very curious about this other part to themselves and this other path to themselves. They're genuinely very curious and they're kind of like calm and they're kind of like at peace and they want to explore this. And this is a great thing to explore. Like they're not going to be disappointed. They're going to get a lot of the things I think they thought they were getting by chasing this other path. And because maybe this is what they thought that they were going to get by being with somebody else's person, and kind of like destroying it. They wanted, but probably it led to like a lot of drama or this person would get bored because it's chasing the high. It's the high of the chase. It's the high of the, I'm seeing like a lion or a tiger bite into like its prey and like it's the takedown, it's a takedown and it is vicious. And, so, I think they're learning about marriage too. I think they've seen that there was real marriage between people or a relationship that would lead to this, like between two people. They're really seeing that. They're like, oh my gosh, I was its natural enemy. I was the natural enemy to intuition and I was the natural enemy to marriage. And they're seeing the truth about some type of marriage, either their own, maybe this person got involved into a marriage, that they thought was going to bring them this like hermit energy, but they kind of like went about it all in the wrong way. And I think they're like wanting to go a different route now. Because I think maybe this person does even want marriage. Some of them don't. Actually, I think they do. But they're maybe going to go through a period where they don't. And their life is going to be so full that they're not even going to realize that they're kind of missing it. And it's going to be from that place that they're going to find somebody really special to them. They're not going to care though. By the time that they kind of meet this person, they're going to be like, oh, you just kind of fit here, Yeah, this person's like kind of turned away from this like blood pumping energy. They wanted something to be like excited. There was like an excitement, but it's the excitement of the chase. So like the end and the means are one. So I think this person wanted to create that kind of family fulfillment structure. Again, but the vibes of it, I'm seeing like, it's the hermit, somebody at peace and calm on the beach, roasting marshmallows. But also like maybe bringing out their surfboard in the morning because I'm hearing the seagulls in the morning and stuff. They wanted it to be like that. Via this avenue, but the ends and the means were disjointed and they have secret feelings about that. the secret feelings here are of disillusionment and all the feelings that would come along with that. So they chase after this blood pumping energy, this like excitement energy, this like, it's the Four of Wands. So they wanted maybe a celebration or like, again, the party or whatever. And then they wanted it to turn into the Pentacles energy. Which a little bit does kind of makes, it's not the way that it works. The way that this person's thinking about it, it's not the way that it works. I can see that because like in astrology, the fire signs give way to the earth signs. You know, the fire kind of paves way for the earth. But the way that it paves way for the earth isn't that the earth is then already built. It starts as a little seed underground that then kind of slowly starts to like poke up and grow. So you do have fire with your partner, you know, that passionate, fun, exuberant partying energy. But it's not like taking somebody away and then having this big like marriage celebration or something like that. It's not that energy. It's a different kind of energy where like that flame even grows into like, oh wow, this is the Four of Wands, so a wedding celebration. But then that as you start to build your life together, that then becomes a seed. And it's not about the showy offy energy because the seed's underground first. See how like that's softer and more subtle? But this person was thinking like that they were going to go straight from like this fire energy, this like Four of Wands energy, and then it was going to be the Ten of Pentacles, like right after that. And it was going to feel like a certain way. But I'm hearing no house will stand that's built on another woman's tears or another man's tears. Like there's something here like that. It's like they cause so much like death and destruction, and they are the natural predator and the natural enemy of intuition and marriage. That's the way that they've been like behaving. But I think this person maybe wants marriage more than anything. I think it makes this person a very unsympathetic character. I know that, again, I don't like cheating. I don't like emotional abuse, and I don't like schmegsual abuse. That's what cheating is. Like, I don't care how attractive you are. I don't care how fun it was. I don't care how many diamonds you were wearing in your hair. It's emotional and sexual abuse. And we have to be serious about speaking like that. But again, like this is a real person who is going through like real things, and it makes them a very unsympathetic character. It makes them unlikable. And it also means that people don't root for them. You know, that's the thing is like having a big marriage celebration. It's like people want to root for you. People like invest in you. They bring you they bring you blenders and they bring you silverware, and you know that's them investing and they're rooting for you. But that energy behind somebody sticking something together like this is you don't have people that are rooting for you, like energetically, and they shouldn't because it's not correct. Like you're not on your path even. You know, and so it's like this is always going to crumble and fall. But I feel like for some reason, like this person was kind of always after it. But it's because they wanted this marriage more than anything. But actually, that's kind of not true because they're also pulled in this other direction of, again, I'm seeing the tiger, the pride, the sexy, you know, and that Four of Wands. It's like, look at me, it's sleek. You know, it's like, look at me. This is like sleek, and you know, I'm prideful, and I'm so attractive. Like it is kind of like. Showy, but I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for here. And they wanted that to be both things, but it can't. Like this person needs to settle on their heart energy, and what they really want is this Pentacles energy. So they could have even like this could also be somebody. So like again, this could be somebody who was a third party, but this also could have been somebody who like left. If they left their love, like you know, a real marriage partner situation, it's because they have this split within them, where it's like I just want to be looked at as like cool. But I also it's like they're trying to validate their own attractiveness, but it's not enough to feel confident from the inside out. They have to destroy something that is seen as, you know, and there's a high to that. And they are wanting, it's like somebody who is wanting the high that they feel cooking something in a spoon to be heaven. It's not, it's just a false heaven. And they are like, I think I want to experience the real heaven. Like there's an addictive quality here. So this person's like really split in their energy, but they were trying to force it into one vision. They were not trying to pull it apart and say this drive is the destructive drive. This drive is leading me towards something else. And in order to heal, I have to sort out why I feel like I need to put forth this like image. They weren't thinking like that. They were like, no, I will make this be the healthy path. And it's caused a lot of destruction. I feel like, again, this person's kind of like outrun that. Yeah, there's like, so their hidden feelings, they're realizing that they really, really love something here that they walked away from, or that they caused somebody here to like walk away from. There's like really, there's a enemy of love, like kind of thing. It also could be that somebody here did have a family. So because it's all kinds of love. It's like romantic love, but it's the friendship love that they've built, you know, in their little communities. It's the love that they have with their children, the love that they have for God and like maybe their religious community, wherever it is, there's love. Like somebody here was like pulling somebody away from love. And I think that they took that as validation, and it's like really cheap. So they're realizing that there's a lack here. I think they're realizing that there's like a lack of morality. This person's actually seeing it through that lens. Again, the ends and the means are one. So if you take immoral means to try to build something, because morality, we talk about morality, I don't mean we, I mean like as a society, from a place of dogma. And a lot of people rebel against that, and I totally understand. And I certainly have gone through periods of my own life where I've rebelled against it. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And when you deconstruct your beliefs, you understand that morality is a code of the way that we treat people. You do need to think about how your actions affect other people, because we're a social species and we build communities. And actually, you are better off at the end of the day. And so regardless of what your morality is, basically we all have to have our own code of conduct that we are capable of meeting. And that, we don't have to have the same one, but just that being congruent. Because I feel like this person espouses a kind of morality that they don't actually live up to. So this person's like a hypocrite. That's another thing that they're dealing with, the feelings of kind of catching themselves out in a lie, catching themselves like in this kind of hypocrisy. Because I think they might espouse being like family and marriage values, but then look what they're doing. Like they're not living in alignment with that. So it's so necessary in our relationships and navigating relationships of all kinds that you have your own code of conduct, that you communicate, and that you can meet. That is the thing that makes you a safe person. Also, if you're espousing your code of conduct and I'm like, that actually scares me, I would prefer that you don't you value this or that. And if I clarify that with you and you're like, actually, I don't. This is something where we know that we go our separate ways. But at least you cared enough about me to help me find where I'm going. You don't think that I should be subjected to you. You see what I'm saying? So we don't all have to have the same morality, but you have to have a morality that you espouse that is congruent and that people can tell. This is, if you've dealt with a fearful avoidant in your life, that's what they were there to show you. It's not that they don't have to heal, but that's what they were there to show you, because they will pick up on that incongruence and they'll move. That's the thing that makes them feel like the most safe. So it could be that you had something here that you were like espousing. Maybe somebody walked away from you because there was something that you were espousing, but then the actions weren't aligning with it, and it's freaking people out. And maybe this is something you didn't even realize was going on, or that this person, I think, didn't even realize was going on, that they lost a lot of friends that are the kind of people that they would, the roasting marshmallows kind of people, that just, they didn't make a big stink about it or anything, but they just sort of noted, this is a person who espouses one thing and then actually lives a different thing. They live in a state of hypocrisy, and it makes them unsafe to be around, but also their true morality doesn't actually align with mine. And so somebody here is like actually feeling like I'm related to your true morality, whereas somebody else is like espousing that they have like a certain kind of morality. You see what I'm saying? And so this confused this person because they were thinking of themselves one way, and they were thinking that they had buy-in that they really didn't have. And I think something here like exposed that. I feel like there's been something here. There's been like an exposing event is kind of what I'm getting. And again, I'm seeing like somebody here is like kind of looking at the pain that they caused. They're looking at somebody here really trying to get somebody back is what I'm getting. Whether it's themselves, and they're like, wow, this is like a big uphill battle, or whether it is like somebody else. But it's again like this kind of split. And whoever was the third party, I feel like they knew that they were interloping, and that didn't stop them, and so it's like, it does take two to hit tango, but and it's that person's fault that like kind of went with them, but it is also their fault, like, because they knew, they could see the split here. They could see that somebody here wanted like to be seen a certain way, or like, and they tapped into that. Or they knew that they were like really sexy in some type of way. The other thing is, and they haven't quite gotten there yet. Yeah, there's like, they feel heartache actually. They haven't quite gotten here yet. But actually, no, I'm not supposed to say that. Ooh, there's a real resistance here though. Because I'm starting to feel what I feel. And I've since realized this with like the Jungian stuff, where it's like, I used to think that it was somebody doing spells or like witchcraft or something, but I actually think this is like the collective shadow. That I start to feel like I'm feeling kind of attacked by that right now. It's almost making me like a little bit dizzy. So if this is you and you're really triggered, I need you to stop. And I need you to, if I'm saying the truth and all this is really, really hard to take, but you're still here doing the work, I need you to stop. I need you to take a breath. And I need you to do a little bit of this integrating work. You're looking at a hard part of yourself. It's not the totality of yourself. And I need you to release my energy. I'm just going to sit here for a second. Something's going on in the chat here. Okay. I also just want to say, maybe I shouldn't say this. Like, if somebody is being out of pocket, and I don't know what's going on in the chat because I would have to like go back, but I really appreciate that this is a very like kind of loving community and everybody is like, you know, working things out. But like, if somebody is truly being out of pocket, like, don't feel like you have to like treat them with a way that maybe isn't the best way. Like, if somebody needs to be told like it's not okay, like what you said, like, I feel like this is a safe place for everyone. Yeah, all real good. Just okay, cool. Okay, so let me just put my that did start to go away. Thank you guys for whoever is like processing through this. Yeah, because I started to realize that where I was like, dang, there's certain things where I feel like I start to get really into something. It's hard to look at certain things. We are a community that does shadow work. It's hard. So, but the emotionality of it, where I used to feel like I was being like intentionally attacked, but now I just actually think it is those like shadow traits where it's like asking to be integrated. And it might not even be coming from the person who's like actually doing this, that's like actually doing the work and realizing that like they're realizing this. It could be all of us who have experienced a person like this. And maybe we like shoved those traits in our own shadows where we're like, well, I would never, like me, for instance, where it's like, well, I would never try to like use whatever I got going on over here to like build my house on another woman's tears. I refuse that. But maybe there is this like need in my shadow where it's like, well, sometimes I want to be attractive. Maybe I want to be stop the world attractive sometimes, you know, where it's like, I want you to like ruin your life. Not that I would, but there's something else that can rise up there, a different trait that is like recognizing that that's toxic and stuff. So instead of just shoving it down in my shadow and saying like, well, I cannot relate to that at all because I'm like holier than that, which I do have a tendency to do. Let's be real. I moralize things in a way that is not healthy all the time. And yes, I was taught to do that from my childhood, but I'm supposed to be working through my own stuff, you know, and I'm not always wrong, which is like another thing. But yeah, so like sometimes it can be for us like this like thing that we stuff down and like in our shadow. And maybe for some, oh my gosh, for some, I feel like maybe you were in a relationship with somebody and it was like the real love thing, but then they left you for somebody that they found to be like just like their sex bomb kind of energy. And you felt really attractive like with that person. Maybe this person made you feel really beautiful. And like for some of you, yeah, maybe you feel like this person was like out of your league or something like that. And you were like, but I felt really beautiful like being with you. And then you just like threw all of that over to go with like this other person. And so now I feel like a heap of garbage, you know, like, I don't know. It could be that. Whew. Okay. So thank you guys so much for those of you that are doing this work. It's really helping. Okay. So what are this person's secret feelings? Yeah. Somebody here is like kind of starting to turn. It's like a slow emergence. I so need to do my shadow work. Anyone have some advice? I have no idea what to do. Oh yeah, Anonymous, that's a good one. She said start with working towards a secure attachment style. Yeah. I mean, cussing people out, so let me go see what they said. Don't get triggered, but let me go see anyway. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, what are this person's secret feelings? Yeah, somebody here is actually feeling secretly defensive about maybe something that was said. I hope I'm not tapping into like what is going on here in the moment, but I think there could have been something here that was like said, or like a sudden switch in direction, or maybe there was like a trip that somebody took. So it could be like, okay, I left you, and then not only did I leave you, just to rub your face in it, I'm on a cruise. I'm on a boat and it's going fast and I got a nautical theme. Catch me in an Afghan. Like, okay, so what else are their secret feelings? For some, it's like they could be watching. I don't know if I've moved to a different person in this third party situation or if this is the same person. So take this however it's resonating, but it's like somebody feels like past memories, there's like a death to like a simplicity. There was like a friendliness. So even if like people had and this might be it's a loss of innocence. I think this might be a shared experience for everybody involved in this third party situation, where it's like a loss of that innocence, a loss of that childhood, like you want to play in the sandbox and eat worms together kind of like feeling, like between the two partners, because I think it used to feel that way. And I think that there's memories here that used to feel that way. And again, if they had kids or if they were going to like, then it was like from that place. It's like, that's what I wanted from, is because we have this kind of rapport, but I don't look back and see it like that anymore. Like, because of the things that were like kind of going on, I feel like there was always this like other part to you that I was never satisfying. And that's the only thing that I really see when I look back on this, is like, I just see that there was this part of you. Oh my gosh, I just felt like tears. Cause I also am hearing the partner hear that. And, like on an energetic level, and tears was, I think we got a delivery. So maybe there was like a delivery, a package, something. Yeah, so there's just tears of like, oh my gosh, like I kind of ruined this, like, because all that person is seeing is like, I don't satisfy this other side of you. I don't like this need for you to like look like this or be this cool person or whatever. But also I feel like this third party that like interloped, I think they could have been friends, genuinely. And like the energy between the two of them, whoever they slept with, I think is supposed to be friendly. And that line was crossed. And so it's like now potentially like they don't have that person as a friend because they're sleeping with them. There's that loss of innocence. You just look at people differently once you've done that. And there's like that loss of innocence between them. So now it's like maybe things ended badly there because of that, or not. But yeah, it's just a loss of innocence. There should be that innocence. And if everything, sometimes I think about this in our society where it's like, if everything is about being like the most attractive one, because you see that now with like the rise of Instagram and everything, we're all comparing like our features and, you got to fix every little like kind of detail, like that scene in Mean Girls where it's like, where Lindsay Lohan's character, Katie, she's like, I used to just think that there's fat and skinny, but it turns out that there can be all kinds of things wrong with your body. And like, they're noticing these minute details. My nail beds suck, and so we all are kind of like doing that. And when we're all trying to be that like sex bomb for everybody, then who's trying to be the friend? Who's trying to be like the person who will stick the thing in their nose and like, make everybody laugh? And like, there's a real loss to it, and I feel like, we're not trying to be well-rounded. Like that's kind of what this situation is saying. It's like, we're not trying to be well-rounded anymore. We're not trying to understand where we go anymore. Where it's like, I'm supposed to be friends with you and I'm supposed to be in a romantic relationship with you. And I'm supposed to be work associate with you. And if I fill out those relationships to the best of my ability, I'm a healthy, well-rounded person. And that's where happiness comes from. But if I'm trying to get the sexual attention of all my friends to make me look attractive, and if I get you to break up with like your girlfriend, instead of building like our community, now we have like these fragmented community. Everybody's so lonely now, and it's because we've ruined our communities. Like, even if it hasn't gone so far, like this isn't the only reason, but it's like certainly a part of it. It's antisocial. It's like moving towards this like antisocial thing, but we don't think of it that way because we think about, well, I just want connection or I just want validation. Like I thought that I was in this kind of state where I just thought, because I was triggered, I wanted to be the attractive one. I just wanted to prove that I could do that I could sleep with somebody, even if it was a betrayal of a friendship, even if it was under notice like all the fuzz here, like maybe somebody was under the influence or something. So even if it was kind of grapey, I just needed to prove that I could do that because of my own attractiveness. I needed that for my own validation. So I needed to treat somebody like an object instead of my friend, or instead of my work colleague, and instead of building up the relationships around me. So if we all help each other build up our relationships, everybody's in strong relationships that they can have that support their kids and everybody else's kids. And then we build this strong community fabric and everybody benefits from that. And your life is more fun. And then that's when you have like, the guitar sessions on the beach with people that you haven't ruined their lives and you haven't ruined like their relationships, and you benefit from that in the intangible kind of way. And I feel like that's, I think somebody here is kind of warming up to realizing that, like, just what they lost here. Because I think that there was a calculation with this third party. I think that there was a calculation where they were like, I mean, like, they're my friend, but if I could sleep with them, you know, or they're my friend if I could turn that that encounter into a relationship, even though it's not right, you know, then I would benefit so much more by, like, my social validation would just go up so much, and it's worth that risk. But actually, they didn't really know what they were losing. They did the calculation wrong, and the fact that it was a calculation to begin with, instead of just like about what it is that they could gain, instead of like being a human about it, you know, and like a human dealing with like other people that are like involved in situations. So, okay, what else? What else are secret feelings? I think somebody here is really seeing the heartbreak, and it's causing them to see things differently. I think this is a person who just, they were not in touch with their empathy. Somebody here was not in touch with their empathy. They were in touch with something else. Yeah. They're moving away from, they didn't want to see the truth. It's kind of like the thing. They're grappling with not wanting to see the truth. I think this person is a bit like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I didn't see it like this, like in the past. I think this, yeah. And I don't think that this is coming out in like other readings that I have on the channel, but it's like they don't want to have to integrate this truth about themselves, because it means that they're not the nice person that they think they are. It means that they're not the friend that they think they are. It means that they're not that warm, empathetic person that they think they are. Because at least in this situation where there was some type of like trigger, and it was like all about what they could get for themselves and like kind of being attractive or being seen as attractive. I think this person is they're secretly like wanting to bring faith and healing and love to a particular situation. Even if the two people that are in a couple are confused about the way that they feel about each other and things like that, the third party's not confused, because they know that they targeted these people because they could see the bond between the two of them, and that their relationship was like, I think, on the precipice of deepening. So they can see it very clearly, because that was the trigger. Yeah. They secretly feel responsible for this. They have taken on that 100% of accountability here. They're reluctant to see it. There's a strong reluctance here, but they are seeing it. They felt small, like in comparison to like these people, because look, we've got this, the Star card and the King of Pentacles. This to me like looks like one of the couple energy that I think I was explaining in pile 1, where you've got that Aquarius energy, and then you've got the like kind of noble energy. But again, they share those kinds of traits. So they were seeing a couple forming that was like very sparkly and very different in a way that was interesting. So I think it was like, it's not boring. You know, they do the family thing, or they do the routine thing. They have like the house together, they have the marriage. And usually people think about that, or can think about that, as being very predictable or very square. But that's not what was going on here. It was something where they were going to really have it all, and it was like very shiny, or they did have it all, and that was what was perceived. And that's the thing that this person reacted to, and they felt small in comparison. And I think it's something that they wanted. It was calling out to their heart in some way. But see how it's like they're blocked at the heart there. I think also this person might be shy, like not in terms of relationships, but it's like in terms of maybe their work or putting themselves out there, or like things move very slowly for this person. So they kind of think that they're never going to get there, instead of like just honoring that is them and that's their path. And like, that's the thing that makes them unique. They feel ashamed by it. So this person feels like they feel less than, and they feel like things are moving kind of slow, or that it's kind of like routined here. And they were very defensive about that. I think that there was a loud message sent when somebody cut somebody else off here. I don't know if this person was cut off. I almost think that it's a feminine energy that like did the cutting off. So whether like being cut off by a feminine energy, especially because I feel like there's so much love here between these two people. And then like to kind of watch a feminine energy like cut away and have to like, this is like what this is. And like that, maybe they didn't see that before, but it's like that is doing something to this person, because it's so not who this person is, like in relation to this person that they love. And they know that they did that. They wanted to feel powerful, but they wanted to feel powerful in this like vain way. They didn't want to feel powerful and like, I ruin things that are beautiful and sweet, innocent and good. and you can't really choose. They feel sorry. They want to say that they're sorry. But right now they're in a place where they want to say sorry and take responsibility, whilst also kind of, it's not a full denial that this person is in, but it's something that I can very much feel that they want to run from. They have had this peek under the hood, but they want to get away from it as far as possible and as quick as possible. Because there's a part of them that's still very defensive about this. But they do understand that they were in the wrong in this particular situation. But this is about getting to the root of why they did this to begin with. Yeah, look, the strength. I feel like this person wanted this like Leo energy maybe. Yeah, they also could have made a big story in their mind about like one of these people controlling the other one, or like, trying to tamp down on like the sexuality or passions of the other one, like being controlling in some type of way. They made up a story, but it's wrong. Like the story is just wrong. It's because, and whatever it is, it's like, it's because they're defensive because they actually want this Leo energy, which I think they could have made a person. They took a person and they made it like their target. They made it like their emblem. They put this person on a pedestal, I think. They made this person represent like the thing that they wanted to integrate within themselves. Instead of trying to integrate that trait into themselves, they were like, I must get that person at all costs. And they could have been discarded by that person. If this is a man, because I think it's a feminine energy that did that. And like, actually the feminine energy, I think was actually very sweet and was actually very, because she's the maiden here. So it's very sweet, very pure, but like is closing the mouth on this lion where it's like, you have a desire that is a beast. Like it's attacking people. And I feel like this person was always very polite, very like, even despite having been like attacked maybe by a beast or growled at or something here. And because this person was like defensive, I think they made somebody out to be like the bad guy. It also could be that if this third party is a woman, they cheated with the more masculine energy here. And then that feminine energy like cut off like very clearly and was like just very matter of fact. Like you are this, you are that, you're a betrayer, you are, you're still a traitor, whatever. And then they were like, oh, well, that person must have been like trying to control them or whatever, like made up some type of like, it didn't fit the situation. It's not that people aren't that way sometimes and that's not some people's stories. It's just that it wasn't the truth in this situation and that was coming from a defensive place in somebody here. So this person, I don't actually think that they're doing much feeling yet. They do feel sorry and like regretful, but it's like coming through kind of slow, and it's really, really unknown whether this person is going to continue with this, because this is all very uncomfortable for this person, and they're in such a strong state of defensiveness. And it's like, even though they're in that state of defensiveness, something here's kind of like trickled through. But whether or not this person is going to run it across the finish line, I kind of feel for most of these people, they're not going to, because but you know what's funny is like, this is their path forward because they want the strength card. But the strength card for me has like an internal quality to it, like an internal strength. To have internal strength, you'd have to be able to go through this process. You'd have to be able to admit that you're wrong. You'd have to be able to explore it all the way down and find the root. Some of these people, so in a way, this is the way that God is answering their prayers. They're like, I want to be that strength energy. And God's like, this is the path. Are you going to come with me? You have to be brave. If you're going to be strong, you have to be brave. And I'm getting that like Hecate energy of like, let's go into like the depths. Okay, I got a Hecate energy here somehow. Even if it's like a different thing, like, so let's go. Are you ready to go into the dark by yourself, or are you staying up here? And for some of these people, they want to, but I don't think that they quite realize that this is what they asked for. This is what they prayed for. They don't recognize this as the path forward because they wanted the path forward to be that Leo energy that they made their emblem, that this person who I think has already done this. And again, they made it very superficial. Like whatever their attraction was to this person, it was like, wow, like they've made it very superficial, but it's also the shortcut because it means that they don't have to like go through this process. So this was like a kind of an angel, I think, that was kind of meant to call them home, but it was more like go through this process. So yeah, like they would have to go through and say like, I was wrong. And I was viewing this because I was defensive. And like, that's how they build that inner strength, really. Yeah, this is an offering from God. This is a love offering. So if this is you, Spirit is saying you prayed for this and this is the way home. This is the way to get what you want. This is the path to being that, to truly getting and integrating that strength energy in your life in a real way. Tower. But I feel like it comes from a tower and there might be a relationship here that has to end. That's the truth. Or no, they have to see the truth about this tower. I think they have to see the truth about a relationship ending. And they have to see that I think they were this Uranus energy that like came in a bolt out of the blue. And I'm hearing myself say in many readings where I'm like, this person doesn't belong here. And it's maybe not necessarily that they don't belong, like they're supposed to be somebody's friend. And friend, like, I feel like this is a person, because they have this need to be seen as attractive. Friend is like a throwaway term. It's like, so that means I'm not important then? It means I'm a background character then? And it's like, that is not what that means. That is not at all what that means. Like, there's a devaluation of friendship. But that's another thing that like really comes through in the readings, where it's like, friends are so important. We have to have friends that were, you know, I think there even could have been a moment between these two where it was like there was emotional intimacy. There was some type of like opening up about something. That's this person treating you as a friend. But I think it was like, how can I use this? And like, you know, like, oh, or it was seen as like, you know, oh, this means that we're like, no, like they must be sexually interested in me. No, like friends are so important. We need friends. Like, you know. But I feel like this, yeah, somebody here was like, couldn't be friends with somebody that a lot of people are interested in, like romantically, that a lot of people are sexually attracted to. Like they just had to do something here. And for a lot of these people, I think it was dishonorable. And I think that it was more on purpose than they realized, but they're saying something here was just an accident, but it really wasn't. And there is a manifestation quality here too, of like there's something that they shoved into their shadow of being seen. And this is like horrendous because it's giving vibes of like a man that's like, oh yeah, I slept with her. I mean, he didn't tell you he raped her. He didn't tell you that she was drunk and passed out. He didn't tell you, you know, but he's saying that because he wants to be seen as like, you know, victorious or like something like that, you know? It's that kind of energy. And that's the only thing that they could want. They didn't want good things for this person. But I think they can't see that about themselves. I really don't think that they can. But attractive people need friends too. And that was the calling. Yeah, so somebody here feels sorry. It's so weird though, because every time this person's like, sorry, it feels like this is a person who just wants everything to be okay. They don't like being the villain. They don't like being disliked. They don't like being the bad guy. That's the inner strength stuff, right? But when you do something that's legitimately in the wrong, I bet you this person doesn't apologize well, because they keep coming through like, I'm so sorry. Like now that I see this reminds me of pile number 2, where it'd be frustrating to have a conversation with this person. It would be its own form of torture, because like this person is like, okay, I have heard you and I understand, like, can we be friends? I am going to do the work in the background. But it's like, I think this person's always trying to drag this up to like, I just need things to be okay between us. It's selfish again. Like what you need for this person is to like actually do the work and stay away from you and be the villain for a while and like stay in that place of not approaching you because they're thinking about you. If they really saw it clearly what they did to you, they would stay away from you because their presence is a trauma trigger for you. So like, and also if they really want healing to happen between you and another person, they have to stay away from the two of you. Your relationship if it's a soulmate relationship, it will naturally heal. The reason that it didn't heal is because you had somebody insert themselves into that dynamic. If they love you, they'll stay away. If they really mean I'm sorry, then they really want to be, because this is the kind of person, it's still about them, because they want that Leo energy. They want to be seen as responsible for. I'm such a good person, right? Like it's still about them, where they're like, I got the two of them back together. No, you didn't. Their relationship belongs together, and nature will heal itself. This bone, it'll grow back together. If you are gone, you're the invader. You're the problem. Go away. If you're the problem, you're not the solution. And this person needs to see that. It's like that's what's stuck into their shadow, villain. They are the villain. You are the pathogen. You are the thing that is causing the problem. And I feel like this person's like, well, let me help. The way you help is by acknowledging that you're the problem. And so the problem has to go. And that is the only way to help. And do the work. And that way, when you apologize, it's not like, I feel like this is annoying me because I'm seeing this person like try to act all sweet and cute and like, you know, like, hey, you know, like, I'm so sorry. And I'm so cute and innocent. And it's like, we know that's not true. Let's fast forward. We both know that that's not true. So integrate that shadow of like, actually, I can be a beast. I can be a villain. I can this is like, you know, like in sometimes like in a cartoon, like some type of character will like burp really big, you know, and like takes up the whole thing, and then they'll be like, excuse me, you know, like that's this person. They were like, Hulk smash, and then they're like, excuse me, you know, like, do you forgive me? Aren't I cute? And I think that they need to see that they cannot possibly be seen that way by somebody in this situation, or by both people, or by people who know about their involvement. They cannot possibly be seen this way. It's weird to ask people to see you this way. It's disjointed from reality. They're not seeing that. And they just want everything to go back to normal. But normal for them is, I want my ego intact. I want my fate, the mask, my facade that was up. I need that intact. Crack that baby. Say, I did an ugly thing because I can be an ugly person sometimes. And join in the rest of humanity, because we're all that way too. And say, I was triggered by that. That's how you make the amends here. And especially if there's like a group of people involved, I think part of the justice is like this couple here, for them to be able to heal, and even for them to be able to hear each other in front of this group, because you were trying to like, be like, I got in on that really attractive person, or like, I got in on that. That sucked the poison out of it. What I mean is, go to that group and say, I'm a piece of shit, or your version of that. I was triggered by how wonderful and beautiful those two people are together. I didn't realize it at the time. And in my mind, I truly was not the villain. But that's why I went over there, and it was my bad. I did a bad thing. So you're saying, you're taking off your makeup in front of these people, your war paint, and you're allowing yourself to be fully seen, including the shadow. I hope that you all know that this like lovely part of me is true. It's a real part of me. And then I get triggered sometimes where I actually I'm actually a very insecure person. And I'm not saying that for sympathy points, because maybe for somebody this person comes off as very attractive, the tiger energy. And then this other part of me comes out. And that other part of me, I'm learning, is a real part of me too. And it is something that I'm accountable and responsible for. And by me not acknowledging it, it had a devastating effect on these people over here. It's something that I'm not okay with. And I'm going to be bowing out of this. But I just want to make sure that these two people getting back together, I need everybody to know that this is number one. And I know that they're number one to each other. And that this was really great. It was something I wanted for myself. And I think that those two people, I hope that they can get back together, but I understand I can't be a part of that. And I just want all of you, I don't want that to be an extra hurdle of like, if we get back together, is that going to make me look weak? Is that going to make, because I'm taking back this rat bastard that I actually love. And like, I didn't realize that, he had this other side to me. You have to take that out of the equation, and you have to say, these two people belong together. And if they get back together, then things are healing over here from my involvement. Because I'm the problem. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me, right? Like, it's got to be that. You have to own it fully. And that is the gift that you can give to these people. So, and that's the apology. The apology isn't like, look at me, I'm so cute. Because you're not. And they know it. It's not that that's the entire part of you, but that is certainly not the part of you that these people experienced. And it's not why we have a big problem on our hands now, is it? So that's the reality. Meet there, and there's some traction. Not going to happen. Yeah, not going to happen. Yeah, Jess, tell him, girl. Yeah. And I think this person does really need to be told it's not all about you. Because this person's like, well, I can't because like, blah, blah, blah. And everything for this person, I think, has been about their mask and about their ego for so long that they really cannot just stop and say, because they're like, well, I can't be the villain. It's like, it's still so much about this person. It's not about you. Like this situation, why you got, like, it was too much about you. And so like, that's part of the amends too. It's like by saying, this is not about me. It should not be about me. But I think some of these people are hiding behind it. It's like, well, if I come in and if I say, and if I make a statement or whatever, like whatever the version of that, because you don't have to stand up in front of a group of people, but it's like, I think that there are certain, like there'll be a moment is what I'm hearing. If you're sincere, then God will make a way. There will be a moment where like, you can just like drop in and have like a real conversation with the people that saw this carnage go on. And you can just say like, I was jealous. Like those two people love each other very much. And it's not the way that it looks like now that I had inserted myself into that. And because I couldn't be a friend and I didn't know what a boundary was to save my life. And I didn't feel like boundaries should apply to me because I had a feeling, the feeling was emotional or the feeling was lustful. And so I was emotionally and sexually abusive. Those are the real things. You don't have to say these words to like these people, but it needs to communicate that. That you understand that this was abuse. This was like, like you can't pussyfoot around it because that's all this person wants to do. They want to apologize. They want things to go back to the way that it was, but they want, and it's just so gross. I don't think this person realized like, it's just so gross to people who are real. It's so gross. It's not the way to go about being liked. Okay. I'm leaving that. That was pile number 3. These were heavy readings. So if you're still here, First of all, congratulations. Please take care of yourself. If you have a friend that you haven't slept with, you reach out to them. Like if you're like, hey, I need to have a light afternoon, friends are important, right? So, yeah. Yeah. I told her that verbatim. It's a relief to have a mirror to hold and feel vindicated. I cut a friend off for this behavior and got accused of this stuff. She was really negative. Yeah. Also, I'm not blaming people who are truly victims, but if more women like you stood up to these kinds of men, they wouldn't be able to get away with that behavior. Yeah, I feel like that too. And also like women, safety is in numbers, right? It's really, really hard. And that's the other thing. Like when women start to speak out about this is why believe all women was a thing. Not to like kind of go back. Like, I don't think that you should believe all women. I think that you should believe the evidence. I think that, I think within our group of women, especially because I believe firmly in checking your own in-group, there should be nothing wrong with like, let's just make sure, like, let's talk out your experience. It should be about the healing first. Let's understand your experience. Let's kind of like go through it. It shouldn't be this like reactionary like thing. But I think the reason that believe all women resonated with so many of us is because there's safety in numbers. Women, typically to be safe, we look out for each other and we go in a group. That's the way that we exert our power. That's the way that we have an influence. That's the way that we have a voice at all. Because like it can be scary to stand up to men, not just because they're physically bigger than you, even the ones that look small. They're stronger than you. They're faster than you. They have like weird stuff in their muscle that like makes that scary. But they also have more social power than you. So like we all have to kind of stand together. And that was the sentiment like behind it. So just notice, like, even if you see a strong woman that is able to use her voice, or she's just fed up, because to me, I don't even think it comes from strength. For me, it just really comes from a place of like, I sincerely don't want to live in a world like this. Like, I mean that like a bit hyperbolic, but it's like, I mean, like, I really don't want to keep seeing people get abused. And I am sick of people getting away with it. And so I don't think that like me raising my voice necessarily always comes from a place of courage as so much as exasperation. But like when you see people like that, it's important to just like show some, even if you're just clapping or like, even if you're just, which I know you guys are like doing, but it's like, it's so important for us to have each other's backs, not in this delusional way of, just believe every single thing that a woman says. But what's happening is you're hearing the sentiment underneath. I'm hurt. I'm scared. I can't process through this experience. And then that's where this #MeToo, like where maybe it falls, like the category at some point, like maybe it falls into the category of actual rape. Maybe it doesn't. But consent was like an issue here is what she's saying. She's saying, I feel kind of like taken advantage of. And I'm not sure why, which is why it's important, again, like that group of women, having that around you. And this is why it's so hard too. Like if there is like that kind of defamation and abusers isolate their victims. And if it's a woman and she's isolated away from other women because the guy that abused her is trying to make her seem like she's crazy and she's weird and she's out there. That is such a that's why a lot of women are like, I'm very hesitant to not believe that woman, because to leave her out there on her own, every single one of us knows what that is. It's certain death. It is certain death. And you're in a dangerous situation where potentially you're going to be more abused. You're going to be more taken advantage of. And then if you get the men thinking that too, well, then you're an easy target. And they shouldn't think twice about doing anything fucked up to you because you deserve it, So a lot of women hold that line of like, I don't really know, but I'm very reluctant to kind of like give that up because we have to stick together. We always do that. And a lot of men don't even understand the degree to which we do that because they honestly believe that their grandmothers and their grandmother's grandmothers were happy in their marriages. They didn't get the pull you to the side at the kitchen table talk where she told you exactly what goes on in her marriage. They never got that. They stuck in happy delusionalville, So it's so important for us to stand together. And I agree. I think that's kind of the only way that the world changes. But the backlash is like so severe. And like, I'm talking about the irrational backlash of like, you have men that don't want to look at the fact that they have made women feel this way. And yeah, they feel victimized too, a lot of them, because they're like, well, I grew up that way and I was just kind of going with the flow and I wanted to seem cool by my friends and I wasn't trying to be an abusive asshole. And it's like, but you were though. And that's what being strong is. And you want to say that you're the leaders. So you need to say like, this amounts to abuse. It wasn't my intention, but it happened. And that's what it is. And I'm also not going to pussyfoot around it. And we have to eradicate it for our world and then step over here and like kind of join that. So, okay. Cheating and betrayal stays with you. Even if you haven't been the person with the person that long, it is still exploitation. And we're social species. So it's like you rely on other people and it just shakes that up, you know? And we don't talk about it like that. It's just, we talk about like that you should process cheating and like schmeggeral relationships from a place of your feelings, you know? Well, I felt this or I felt that. But there's nothing wrong with like stepping out and seeing yourself as a part of an organism. And that can also be a clarifying thing to help you like understand your way through. It's not just about you. Because like pile number 3 is so merged with their own feelings that I think they think that makes them empathetic. Like just being a strongly feeling person does not necessarily make you an empath. To be an empath doesn't just mean that you have a lot of feelings, because a lot of times the people who have a lot of feelings, they're the most narcissistic and self-involved of all of us, but they convince themselves that they're not. But they're so preoccupied with their own internal sensations. And that's the way they're like, and that's how they're trying to navigate the world. And then they'll call that intuition, and it's not the same thing. Being an empath does mean that you have deep capacity for feelings, but it means that you understand how other people feel. And then that affects your behavior, because if you hurt people, then you are going to feel that hurt as well. There could be no victory hurting another woman or hurting a man, or, you know, there could be no victory in that because somebody's crying over there. It's not a full victory. You'll always hold both of those things. And if you're capable not to, that's something to look at. And I would stop using the term empath. Not because maybe you're not one or because you don't have the capacity for that, but that's a place where you need to question why you don't care about other people. And you're never going to question that place if you think you have all these feelings that actually makes you more self-absorbed, but you keep using the term empath. So, okay, anyways, if I hurt others, I hurt myself. Yeah. And it's not just like, okay, I hurt others like that one other person, but then like you see how the way that kind of ripples out. They're not able to be as present for their kids because now they have to process this betrayal. So there was like maybe a 3-year period where mommy was just fucking distant and daddy was off with another woman. So now like you see what I'm saying? You can't do that. And you know, so, okay. Again, I don't want to like harp on things so much because I moralize a lot, but like this is my own code of conduct. And like I said, for me, this channel, like I can see how people would get like, this isn't the way, I'm not this rigid in any other place, but this channel happens to overlap with my absolute no's. We are not emotionally abusive and we are not schmegsually abusive. The rest I can kind of work with people on, even like horrible things. But those 2 things, I can't be the one. I can't listen to you. Like, you know, like I can't be the one, like, you know, like, it's a no for me. It's an absolute no for me. And I feel like Spirit is bringing people that need to hear me say that, either because nobody said that when they were around. It was always, well, we need to be compassionate. And that means, you know, it's okay if it's an absolute no for you as well. Or that you have absolute no's. And that you are more flexible in other ways. Because we all have to walk each other home. And not everybody is meant to help everybody through every problem. You know? Where it's like, I really can't be the one that like, I really can't be the one to help people, you know, who want to not own up to what certain things, the effect that it has on other people in a real sense. I'm really not the one. And I need it far away from me because I'm going to get re-traumatized. You have a very healthy moral compass. Thank you. For real, the men I knew were supposed to care for and protect, not abuse. Yeah. That truly is the heartbreak of my life. And I do just want to say that I know it seems like I come off like really hard on men, but I came from a place of like kind of putting men on a pedestal. I was a bit taught to do that, but that's really truly the heartbreak of my life, is that men are not at all. Like they're not in a pure sense like what I was taught. There are still men that represent that and that are like that. And I know a lot of them, but it's not fully through and through, and having to realize that and then having to kind of navigate that has been part of my life. It was also the thing that I think was holding me back from becoming this version of myself where it's like, I can be a fighter. You know that quote that says like, I always looked around and wondered why nobody did, like, when is somebody going to do something about this? And then I realized that I am someone, you know, that was the thing that was preventing me from, I actually, at my core, I am a protector. I really am. And I like to be. But I think I was always just taught that that's what the men were supposed to be doing. But why do they suck at it? So many of them, even if they are well-intentioned. This reminds me of another quote in Pride and Prejudice where Elizabeth Bennet, she's talking to her aunt and she's like, men are something like this. If they are amiable at all, they're so eaten up with cowardice that like blah, 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 blah. Like it's, and her aunt is like, that save us strongly of bitterness, you know? And it's like, yeah, well, sometimes you got to get like your illusions popped. But that was the thing where it's like, I think I was just like taught to outsource that to men, and then kind of being like, why am I so much better at this than you? Because being a protector isn't all about brawn either. You got to have a noggin on you, and you have to understand the way that you have to have empathy. How can you be a protector and not have empathy? You know? force and protection are not the same thing. And there's no reason I can't be a protector of like the things that I know and love and cherish. And we all are. And that's also the thing is I actually learned a lot in my life where I'm like, why is it? It's a lot of times it's the women that are sticking their necks out for me. A lot of times it's the women that are like, you know, having the meetings and like really are saying the hard no's, but they do it from such a place of nurturance. And that like made me also realize, I don't know, I'm just talking about my own inner journey, but I really don't hate men. I'm so hurt by them. I'm just so hurt by them. And I'm a bit over hearing a lot of them say like, we're the leaders of society. And yet you don't have empathy for your fellow human being and you're a part of a social species. It makes me sick. It honestly makes me sick. So, okay. Jess, what are your thoughts on veganism? Not asking in a judgmental way. Well, I have thoughts on veganism. I don't know that they're like profound, but like I don't really want to get into it right now. Ask me another time and maybe we'll get into it. So shall we move into the general messages? Whew, I'm sweating over here. Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have just of a general variety? It doesn't have to be about anybody's secret feelings. And please let it not be. What else do you have to say? Planning. Text, call, hesitation, reconciliation. Let's see. I'm going to get a different card here too. So what about this planning energy? Growing, sharing your journey, lesson learned, soul bond, envy. Interesting. Somebody is like maybe planning to reach out, to make plans with you, to build like your connection here in some way. We do have envy at the bottom of the deck. I'm wondering if this is like holdover energy. Oh, so I think somebody here is maybe saying that they've said goodbye to either their envy or like somebody else's. So they're hesitant to reach out. I think somebody wants to make plans with you, to grow together with you. I've done this long enough. Like part of me is like, oh, I didn't really want this to be an extension of like one of the piles, but a lot of times that's what the general message kind of ends up being. And I can't really fight it because this is the energy that's like coming through. Even if I pull out, it just makes the reading like very choppy. So I'm just going to go with the flow here and we're just going to see what comes out. I can't make this about what I want it to be about. Look, someone's forgiven you, back together, fresh start, second chances, letting go. I think somebody here is like wondering if you could forgive them. I hope that they're not like insisting that you forgive them. Real reunion, opposites attract. Somebody wants a real reunion. Okay, I think that that's like very clear, but I think that you should still navigate based on what it is that you want. And like the frustrating thing is if this person reaches out and they're again not honoring that you're like maybe not ready, or like allowing you to just say that you're not ready, then they're going to feel rejected, and they're not really being rejected. It's just that they're interrupting a process, maybe like a healing process. Clarity here. Intuition and breaking point. Somebody here has like clarity about their intuition. I'm like really kind of not feeling these general messages because it's like repeating things that came out in the readings. Okay, this person's like, please don't avoid, block, or push me away, Jess, because you're feeling stressed out about like some type of tension in arguments. I think this person's like, I have a real thing to say. So then what is it that you're trying to say? I feel like this person's trying to build up to saying something here. And when they reach out, they might be trying to build up to something here, but they're like having some type of hesitation. And I think they're scared that you're going to like kind of cut them off. What are they wanting to say? Something unexpected. They think that they might shock you with something. Okay, this person is saying that they have something shocking that they want to tell you. It's not something that you're expecting. But they might start off like kind of like building. You might think you know where the conversation is going to go, but it's not going to go in that way. It's going to be like kind of shocking. Something that you're not expecting. Why are you going to shock them? Boundaries, No, drawing the line. So it's a shocking thing about boundaries. Conflict, clashing differences, and incompatibility. For some of you, I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is a person who's going to reach out and tell you that there's like no compatibility here. Possibilities in family. Maybe this is a third party. Yo, I think for some of you, like somebody here might be reaching out to a third party and telling them that they are done or like they're breaking it off and they have to because they are holding some, there's been a conflict here. They're holding some type of possibility of like having a family with you, I think, because they're missing you. I think for some of you, I think this message is somebody telling you that it's going to shock you, but this person is going to end things with a third party. They're going to have some type of like hard conversation where they're going to be very clear about maybe feeling conflicted about a conflict being like brought up. I think this is the reason that they're bringing this. Okay, this is why this was shocking, because they're like, it's not what you think it is. So I don't know that this person is going to reach out to you, but I think if you have had a relationship crumbling here with this person, I think like psychically and intuitively, they're letting you know that they are breaking things off with a third party. Or they're going to have some type of like clarifying conversation here with a third party. They were having some type of, because they were, I think this person is like, they're holding a candle for you. They're like hoping, they're wanting you back, but there's like resistance to this, even like in manifesting it and like putting it out into the world, because they're not like kind of taking charge in a certain way. They kind of feel like they need to be alone, or they need to kind of like, I don't know. This is kind of coming in like a bit confused. If this is you, like on your side of things, and like, again, there's been a real receptivity for like 2 of the 3 piles. There was a real receptivity to like when I would kind of throw things out, this person would kind of like hear it and then like automatically like change things. So if this is you, like don't rush through anything. Like if you're like, okay, I have to break things off with a third party. Don't like rush through anything. Like do the emotional processing. So like if you're related to like, I feel like this is somehow connected to maybe pile number 3. The other piles it could be too, but it's like, okay, well, I'm actually going to do the real work, and I'm actually going to like, okay, but the real work is like dealing with your own emotions, making your own like decisions of what needs to happen, and making sure that something like suits you and sits well with your soul. But like the pile number 3 person, the reason they couldn't tell that before is because they were, I think, numbing out through some type of like addiction of feeling attractive. Somehow it's like involving third parties in order to feel attractive. That became an addiction. So they couldn't get in touch with your intuition. So step 1 here wouldn't be, let me reach out to this third party, even if it's going to end up being the right thing to do. It's not doing that in a snap judgment sort of way. It's doing that work of like, okay, actually, like the real issue is that I couldn't hear my intuition. I couldn't get in touch with my intuition because it was like that softer, subtle energy that I was like kind of numbing out. Because this person, I think, is very prone to like, oh, okay, I got it. I get it now. They're too keen in a way. They are like a copper pot, but in a way where it's like they need to be more like slow to move, like grounded and like holding weight in a way that is like more slow to move, where they can really be sure. Like that is the core of it. And I feel like that might be kind of getting missed here, because it's like I think it is actually, and it might well be the right move to make, to have a conversation with a third party to cut that off. That's not feeding like, good things, but the process is just as important. The end and the means are one. So I think somebody here has like a habit, or like they look to the ends, they look to the outcome that they want, and they want to like jump to that outcome, which is very human. We all want that, but we have to slow down and we have to look at the way that we get there. That's the thing. We have to focus on, prioritize the process by which we get there. And for all of us, it starts internally. Does this sit well with my soul? Like, does this feel like the right thing for me? Okay, because I'm hearing like this person, I'm hearing Jess say maybe, like, this is causing complications, like even energetically, because like I'm split, I'm manifesting one thing, I'm manifesting another thing. It's giving rise to like conflict. It's never going to resolve this way. And that makes sense to you, like on this level. And then it's like, okay, but I'm actually making those changes, and I want to demonstrate that I'm actually making those changes like really, really quick, so I'm going to do the thing, but you're jumping to the outcome, and give yourself some time to work up to the outcome. Foreplay. I just heard foreplay. Work up to the outcome that you want. And it starts internally with yourself of not being conflicted internally, and making sure you doing your due diligence to make sure that something sits well with your soul. Because somebody here who's your soulmate, they don't just want you back to have you back, because they know they've been able to identify that you guys are soulmates and that you guys should be together. They want you to want them, but they don't want it based on like this technicality. They want you to be sure. And it's not like from a mental place. They want you to have, they really need you, actually. They need you to go through the due diligence of that internal emotional work of like making sure that even though you're hearing it and it's like, yeah, that all checks out, like really saying like, well, what am I losing if I let go of the third party? You need to go through that, like, you know, on the back end. I'm not going to, I'm going to get triggered. But like in your own time, like journal, like, hey, well, if I actually cut things off with a third party, like what am I actually losing? And then grieve that. You know, what was the third party kind of filling in for me? I think it's a sense of attractiveness, to be honest. I think it's like, well, I'm so attractive because, you know, even though I'm in this relationship, like I step out of the relationship because other people want to sleep with me. Guess what? Most people have other options besides, you know, I'm about to get on my soapbox again. Let me not. Most people have other options, but there's something else. Like they can be a bigger person where it's like, I'm going to choose a path like forward for myself. And nobody doubts whether or not, I know Alex could sleep with other people. That's not a thing I need him to prove. If he did that, I would think, oh, he's insecure. And he doesn't know that about himself. But he's projecting that maybe I don't know that or that other people don't know that, you know? But it's like, yeah, it's not a surprise that most people have other options. But I think for somebody here, they're like, I have other options. And it's like, okay, but like most people do. So why is it that you have to like highlight that about yourself, you know? So, but this is a part of the conversation of really unearthing, what does the third party mean to you? What are you making it mean? What did you make it mean? What are you going to lose? Like, I think for some, like this way of being and like sleeping with their friends and having affairs and stuff maybe has meant that this person doesn't have real friends. So for some, maybe the third party is a friend. It's the person that they can go and talk to because, and it feels kind of like intimacy, but it's because other people are kind of looking at this and they're like, you espouse one set of morality, you live out a different one. It's not something I'm comfortable around. So people have kind of like excluded themselves from this person. People that would probably be better for this person to kind of open up to and process through. So are you losing that friend? You know, are you prepared to be like, you know, is that the only person that you could talk to because you'd not valued your friends and like built those kinds of other things. So that's another thing that you're gonna have to, are you in a place to be able to do that? Like this has to come from the inside out. And it can't just be this like snap kind of a thing. Like, okay, well, it's the right move to make. It is, but how you get there matters kind of a thing. Skipping the grieving process. All right, anything else here, Spirit? Healing, nourish, do things to heal. If this is you and you're like, hey, I'm just going to do like, also like besides just the processing work, which is the hard work, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're healing and that you're taking time to nourish yourself. Everything has to be like in a balance because you're going to burn out really quickly. You're going to grow resentful. Like if all you're doing is this deep shadow work, you know, and it's also going to start to distort your mind of, oh, this is like, when you look at your shadow, you're like, oh, this is the person that I am. But then you forget about like the conscious part of yourself that has all these like beautiful traits that you very much are aware of and own and show to other people. You're both. Sometimes when you do too much shadow work and like you don't then like pull yourself out and then you're able to kind of nourish, you start to think like, man, I'm a piece of shit. And you start to like relate to yourself only from that space, which is why when you do things like this, you know, like where we're processing through this, it's just one aspect of your life and we're going to do it and we're going to do it to the nines. And I hope that you know that like here, come in here, we're going to do it. We're going to do it fully. We're going to do it completely. But it's important to like then touch grass or like do something that reminds you of like your better, the things that you are strong in. And, you know, because it's your shadow isn't the only part of you either, you know? So it's like balance it out. Yeah. And so for some of you, I think maybe you could use a bit of a break, book a massage, go get yourself some sushi, do a face mask, you know, whatever. And that's also something I think in a broader understanding of commitment, like that's also mirrors like a relationship path of commitment where it's like, well, yeah, we do like the work, but we also can like play and goof off. Like if commitment is all like work, who would want to do it? And what would be the value that it brings to your life? So it's the same way in like a relationship, but then it's also like the relationship with ourself. And you know, maybe you feel like maybe you feel like you swing back and forth to relationships where it's like it all feels like work, because really I think maybe it's because one person is kind of not doing their work, so the other party has like these perpetual needs and they never move past that milestone where it's like, yeah, I brought up one need, we didn't handle it well, so we never like successfully like overcame an obstacle, and then we were able to put it down, and then we were able to enjoy each other and like go have fun. So it's like, because somebody here is like stubborn and prideful and maybe jealous, because this is reminding me of pile number 1. It's like they get into relationships where maybe it's like all work and no play, and then they're like, fuck this, and then like just they monkey bar to another situation where it's like they know that they're not interested in that person and they can just goof off and have fun. It's not, but then they misunderstand and they're like, okay, well, this person is like, yeah, I love them, they're the love of my life, and I just wish that things could be like happier and fun. But then like over here, like this person's so fun and we just like have so much fun together. That's wrong. That's actually false. And affairs are very much like that too, because right, like the partner gets like there's real life going on, you know, where all the things that have to happen in your life, you know, you have to get the oil changed, you have to get the kids to so your relationship holds the weight of that. But then affairs, it's like, it's all just fantasy. Even if your fantasy includes like the mundane things, it doesn't have the weight of that down there. Or you jump into a casual, no strings attached kind of relationship because you know you would never take that person seriously as a partner. You know you don't want to build a life with them. So really you can be your like more fun, carefree self. And I'm hearing like you remember like the way that people make you feel. So I think there's a distortion here where it's like, oh, well, I just feel very like burdened over here by this, but then I feel very carefree over here. And then I'm struggling to kind of like marry the two together. And it's like, it's the approach that's wrong. So like when you do the hard work, whether it's in relationship or whether it's within yourself, and both, it's important to have a balance. It's important to be able to, but this is where healthy communication comes in, and learning how to fight well comes in, you know, where it's like, okay, if you have to really pull back, like being able to figure that out kind of like in the moment, but in a way that is cooperative and that is, you know, where it's like, I'm really burnt out. Alex and I, when we first got together, we used to have fights that were like 2 to 3 hours long. Never in my life like have I had fights that were like 2 to 3 hours long, but we fought in a healthy, clean way. And it was genuine. Like we truly did not understand each other. And we were both trying to be like very, you know, like conciliatory to the, like we were both being very kind, like with the other person, but it would get to this place where it's like, I don't understand you at all. Like, and that was like really demystifying for me, because I feel like I usually can understand where certain people are coming from, but I legit, there's certain, like, it didn't happen all the time, but man, when we would fight, it wasn't like knockdown fighting, but it would go on for like 3 hours, and not everybody can fight for 3 hours. And we would take breaks, but you have to also look out for your partner, where it's like, are you okay to put this down right now? Like, and can we move this to a place to put this down? Because I need a break, you know, and then we can get back to it. And then like you do, and you honor your word when you say that. And that's how you build trust in a relationship, you know, or it's like, okay, well, I think we've resolved this for now, but like, I'm going to try. And then like when it comes back up, but then you can enjoy each other like later on. Because I feel like actually you're in a situation where you feel like your affair partner is the person that you can like goof off and like, but it's not, has nothing to do with their personality. It has nothing to do with the chemistry between the two of you. It's just because you're not serious about them, or because the pressure is kind of off, because somebody's emotionally unavailable, because somebody's like in another, that's why you feel that way. It's not anything inherent. So I feel like wires could be getting crossed here in that regard as well. But, okay. You helped me process so much, Jess. I'm so glad. This was such a big one. I feel like, this reading was like a big one. And if you don't like me after this reading, I am sorry. But this is the real me. I know I can be a lot. I know I can be much. I know I can be intense. And you don't have to believe me that it's like I just have my certain things, and like it does actually kind of come out here, and hopefully it's helpful for all of us that we're working through it. But I'm just gonna leave that there. I hope you still
self-deprecating insecurity is showing.
Okay. So if that bothers you too, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So, okay. That's what I have. We have a Patreon reading that's coming out tomorrow. It is what can they see that you can't see? That was an interesting one. And we sell candles. They smell nice. They have good ingredients. And we sell scented candles, and we also sell ritual candles. And I'm not going to go into a lot about that, but I think it's listed in like the listings and things, kind of more what they are. But if you're interested in scented candles, the good ones that I like for this time of year: Moonlit Beach, Sunny Side, and were you going to say something?
Nope.
Oh, and Fresh Start Also, Mama's House, it's like very warm baked cookies, and that's like just a good staple all year round if you like a cozy, like homey kind of vibe. There's so many good ones, but I think I'll just leave that there if you're interested in that sort of a thing. So, because I feel like for a lot of you, lighting a candle and taking a bubble bath is just what the doctor ordered. I feel like Spirit literally was like, you need to like kind of decompress. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that there, and thank you for being here. Our shadows need love too. Actually, more so. Good job, Jessica Coven. Okay, bye, George. Bye, guys.